Chapter 2485. Revival of the Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron. A 6-star Heavenly Emperor and 4 5-star Heavenly Emperors formed a circle and surrounded Lu Ming. Their cold killing intent enveloped Lu Ming. Heaven realm trash. The 6-star Heavenly Emperor said coldly. This was a noble of a different race. He was tall and covered in purple scales. He held a battle sword in his hand. He was wide and huge, even taller than an ordinary person. Bang! The other party made his move immediately. His burly body approached Lu Ming in an instant and his huge saber slashed out violently. The space exploded and the power was shocking. Lu Ming's entire body was covered in a bright purple-gold light as he pushed his strength to the extreme. When Lu Ming's energy was activated to the extreme, he could no longer maintain his disguise and revealed his original appearance. Buzz! The Great Desolation spear trembled violently and swept out, colliding fiercely with the opponent's saber. With a violent boom, Lu Ming was once again pushed back. Now, even if he used all his strength, he was not a match for a 6-star Heavenly Emperor. In the Heavenly Emperor realm, there was a huge gap between each level. Lu Ming, it's you! The other party recognized Lu Ming the moment he revealed his true form. Kill him! Let's attack together! The other 4 5-star Heavenly Emperors also roared and attacked together. 5 5-star Heavenly Emperors joined forces, and their power was extremely terrifying. Lu Ming brandished his long spear tightly and blocked the other party's attack. However, he was still forced to retreat and the chi and blood in his body were in turmoil. Kill! The 6-star Heavenly Emperor also rushed over and slashed out a pale saber flare. Lu Ming no longer took the attack head-on. His muscles trembled and he moved horizontally for 100 meters to avoid the other party's attack. He then rushed toward the road on the right. There was no alien race guarding that road. The 5 alien experts were in hot pursuit. Buzz! Lu Ming's speed was very fast. In an instant he arrived at the intersection. He did not stop and rushed over directly. The 5 alien races stopped. Are we going to chase them? A 5-star Heavenly Emperor non-human asked. There's no need to chase. This path is more dangerous than the one on the left. It's much more difficult. If this kid goes in, he'll die. Leave 2 people here to guard. Well, continue to attack over there. If there's any movement here, inform me immediately. The 6-star Heavenly Emperor ordered. Yes. The others nodded. They waited for a while more. Seeing that Lu Ming did not come out, a few of them returned to the left path, leaving 2 people to keep watch nearby. Lu Ming entered the path on the right and kept moving forward. This road was filled with blood-red mist, blocking the view and making it impossible to see the scenery ahead. The foreign tribe didn't chase after us. It seems that there's danger here. Lu Ming pondered. He focused his mind and covered his body with the power of domination. He held the Great Desolation spear and walked forward carefully. After advancing for more than 10 miles, a dragon's roar suddenly came from ahead. That's right, it was a dragon's roar. This place. Could there be a true dragon? Lu Ming had some doubts. They continued forward. The dragon's roar became louder and louder. Suddenly, the fog churned and 2 blood-red lights appeared in the fog. They were like 2 blood moons. Then, a huge true dragon appeared in the fog. The true dragon was blood-red all over. Its blood-red eyes were filled with cold killing intent. A true dragon? There's actually a true dragon. Lu Ming was bewildered. This was the Netherworld Mountain, a place that came from beyond the heavens. In the heaven realm, the ancestral dragon was known as the ancestor of all true dragons. In that case, didn't that mean that true dragons only existed in the heaven realm? Could it be that there were true dragons beyond the heavens? In that case, the theory that the ancestral dragon was the ancestor of all true dragons was worth discussing. No, it's not a real body. It's an illusionary body. Then, Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He realized that this true dragon seemed to have a physical body, but there was no life aura on it. Instead, it was condensed from some kind of energy. The moment the true dragon saw Lu Ming, it roared and pounced at him. 1-star Heavenly Emperor. As soon as the true dragon made its move, Lu Ming could tell that it had the cultivation base of a one-star celestial emperor. Naturally, a one-star heavenly emperor was no match for Lu Ming. Lu Ming's spear struck out and the true dragon was defeated. However, after the true dragon was defeated, it turned into a wave of energy and drifted back, then condensed into a physical body again. Following that, more roars were heard. As the blood mist churned, another blood-red true dragon appeared. There were strong and weak auras, but the weakest one was a one-star heavenly emperor, and the strongest was a three-star heavenly emperor. As soon as the true dragons saw Lu Ming, they roared and pounced on him. Lu Ming held the Great Desolation Spear and charged over. The long spear trembled and shot out spear light. It pierced into the heads of the true dragons and crushed them. However, the moment these true dragons were defeated, they immediately condensed again. There was no way to kill them. Kill! Lu Ming rushed over and went deep in. However, he realized that more and more true dragons were appearing. Moreover, there were already more than 24-star heavenly emperor-level true dragons that had surrounded Lu Ming. Why are there so many true dragons? Are they dragon souls? Lu Ming made a guess. More than 20 true dragons pounced at Lu Ming continuously. After being defeated by Lu Ming, they condensed again. However, Lu Ming finally realized something. Every time the true dragons were defeated, they would become weaker. It wasn't completely unkillable. As long as he killed it a few more times, he could still kill it. Lu Ming's long spear trembled continuously. The bright and sharp spear radiance burst out continuously, blasting the true dragons apart. What? At this moment, Lu Ming's expression changed. He felt that the divine nine-dragon cauldron, which had been silent in his sea of consciousness, had actually moved. The divine nine-dragon cauldron hadn't shown any signs of change since it had used up all its energy more than 100 years ago. However, there was a change now. Could it be related to these true dragons? Lu Ming did not think and immediately summoned the divine nine-dragon cauldron. Buzz! As soon as the divine nine-dragon cauldron appeared, it began to shake violently. The dragon carving on the cauldron emitted a bright light, as if the dragon on it had come alive. Then, a loud dragon roar came from the divine nine-dragon cauldron. Then, the shadow of 9 dragons appeared, opened its mouth and roared. A terrifying devouring power was emitted from the mouths of the 9 dragons. The blood-red true dragons showed fear and wailed. But in the next moment, these blood-red true dragons actually turned into red light and flew into the mouths of the 9 dragons, disappearing. More than 20 blood-red true dragons were swallowed by the 9 dragon phantoms, regardless of their cultivation level. Buzz! The divine 9-dragon cauldron shook violently, and a powerful aura emanated from its surface. The divine 9-dragon cauldron had been revived. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Chapter 2486 Combat Power Skyrockets. Lu Ming did not expect that the divine 9-dragon cauldron would actually come back to life after devouring the blood-red true dragon. It was emitting powerful fluctuations. Although it was still a lot weaker than when he was at his peak, it was still very shocking. This blood-red true dragon is actually useful for the divine 9-dragon cauldron. More of it, the more the better. Lu Ming laughed heartily in his heart. He had been quite depressed because of these blood-red true dragons, but now he couldn't wait for more to come. With a thought, Lu Ming put away the divine 9-dragon cauldron and continued to move forward. Roar! Dragon roars could be heard continuously. As Lu Ming went deeper, blood-red true dragons kept appearing. Their numbers increased and their cultivation level grew stronger. Behind them, there was actually a 5-star heavenly emperor. However, when Lu Ming summoned the divine 9-dragon cauldron, it immediately devoured the blood-red true dragons. If one didn't work, he would summon 2. The path was very long. Lu Ming walked for thousands of miles before he reached the end. As for Lu Ming, several divine 9-dragon cauldrons had already been awakened. At the end of the road was a huge wasteland, and in the center of the wasteland was a huge mountain. Roar! Dragon roars reverberated through the world. So many, Lu Ming was dumbfounded. He saw many blood-red true dragons swimming in the wilderness. At a glance, one could not tell how many there were. Their auras varied in strength. Some of them were 1-star heavenly emperors, while some of them were even 6-star heavenly emperors. Lu Ming was not shocked. Instead, he was happy. In Lu Ming's eyes, all these blood-red true dragons were treasures. These blood-red true dragons were simply killing stars to others. For example, to the foreign races, they were terrifying killing stars. The strongest of the foreign kinds was only a 6-star heavenly emperor. If they rushed here, they would probably die. No wonder there are no foreign races on the right side. It's so dangerous. Ha! At the thought of this, Lu Ming burst out laughing. In Lu Ming's eyes, these true dragons were all tonics for the divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron. If the divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron was fully awakened, Lu Ming would definitely be able to unleash its full power with his current cultivation. When the blood-red true dragons saw Lu Ming, they roared and pounced toward him. Lu Ming smiled and rushed over as well. The moment he rushed out, a huge cauldron flew out from his brow. A total of 9 cauldrons floated in the air, emitting a dazzling light. Then, they condensed into the figure of 9 dragons. They opened their mouths and burst out with a powerful devouring power. The devouring power enveloped those blood-red true dragons. Those below the 6-star heavenly emperor level had no power to fight back at all. They directly turned into blood-red light and flew into the mouths of the 9 dragons, turning into energy to activate the divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron. The 9 divine Nine-Dragon Cauldrons glowed, and their auras became stronger and stronger. The dragon-shaped carvings on them seemed to come alive. Soon, the blood-colored true dragons in this area were all devoured. Lu Ming immediately shifted his focus to devouring the blood-colored true dragons in other areas. If the few alien races knew that Lu Ming had such a great time in this place, they would probably die of anger. Lu Ming kept running and devouring the blood-colored true dragons. In just a few hours, he had devoured more than half of the blood-colored true dragons. The reason why it took him a few hours was that the blood-red true dragons, which were equivalent to 6-star heavenly emperor realm experts, could still resist and were relatively difficult to deal with. Boom. Just as Lu Ming was about to continue controlling the divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron to devour the blood-red true dragon, the mountain in the middle of the wilderness suddenly shook. Then, it emitted a bright blood-red light. Suddenly, a dragon's roar came from the mountain, shaking the earth. There are true dragons in this mountain too. Wait, this mountain can't be a huge tomb, a true dragon's tomb. Lu Ming could not help but guess. And the more he looked like it. It was very likely that an extremely powerful true dragon was buried in this mountain. Many years after its death, the dragon's soul spread out and turned into many blood-red true dragons. This was highly possible. The divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron was resurrected after devouring such a dragon soul. The dragon's roar from the mountain became louder and louder. Then, it emitted a piercing blood-red light. A huge blood-red true dragon rushed out of the mountain, emitting a powerful and shocking aura. Peak 7-star heavenly emperor. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. This blood-red true dragon's aura had already reached the peak of the heavenly emperor realm. It was extremely terrifying. I don't know how many years it has been since its death, but its remaining dragon soul has already reached the peak of the celestial emperor realm. This true dragon couldn't have been a powerful existence at the martial god realm when it was alive, could it? Lu Ming guessed and was secretly shocked. At this moment, the 9 dragons also roared, and the 9 divine Nine-Dragon Cauldrons emitted a brilliant light. The 9 illusory dragons pounced directly at the blood-red true dragon at the peak of the heavenly emperor realm. The blood-red true dragon also pounced at the 9 illusory dragons. The 2 huge dragons intertwined in the air and fought fiercely. A vast dragon might spread in all directions. The other blood-red true dragons lay on the ground and didn't dare to move. The 2 giant dragons were locked in a fierce battle. It wasn't that the combat strength of the 9 dragon shadows was so strong that they could be compared to a peak heavenly emperor. It wasn't like that. However, the 9 dragons seemed to be born to restrain their opponents, or rather, to restrain the dragon souls. That was why the 2 of them were locked in a fierce battle. This battle was a long and fierce battle. This was because once the blood-red true dragon was destroyed, it would reform. However, every time the other party was defeated, the 9 dragons would take the opportunity to devour some of the other party's dragon souls. However, there was an endless supply of dragon souls coming in from the mountain. Therefore, the blood-red true dragon was always in its peak state as it fought with the 9 dragons. This battle lasted for a full month. Lu Ming was speechless. He might as well cultivate at the side. However, after a month of fighting, the 9 dragons finally gained the upper hand. That was because there was finally no more dragon soul to replenish the mountain. Without any replenishment, every time the other party was defeated by the 9 dragons and devoured a part of it, he would become weaker and weaker. In the end, the true dragon was defeated by the 9 dragons. It turned into wisps of light and was completely devoured by the 9 dragons. Buzz. After devouring the true dragon, the divine 9-dragon cauldron shook violently. It was dazzling, and its aura reached its peak. The divine 9-dragon cauldron had completely recovered. Lu Ming could control it with a single thought. What a terrifying power! Lu Ming controlled the divine 9-dragon cauldron. He was overjoyed when he felt the power emanating from it. He felt that if he controlled the 9 divine 9-dragon cauldrons at the same time, he might be able to burst out the power of a peak heavenly emperor. Lu Ming was overjoyed. This meant that with the divine 9-dragon cauldron, he could fight a peak heavenly emperor. Continue. Lu Ming controlled the divine 9-dragon cauldron to continue devouring the remaining blood-red true dragons. Not long after, the blood-red true dragons on the wilderness were all devoured by the divine 9-dragon cauldron. Not a single one was left. Chapter 2487 9 cauldrons showing their might on the other side of the wasteland, there was also a road. It kept going forward, and no one knew where it led. Lu Ming did not hesitate and stepped on the road. He was much more confident now. With the help of the divine 9-dragon cauldron, he was not afraid even if he encountered a peak heavenly emperor. Now, the only threats to Lu Ming were the unrivaled powerhouses and the martial arts god. However, there were too few of them. The only martial gods left were the non-human divine ancestor and the ancestral dragon. There were not many martial emperor powerhouses either. For example, both the primal chaos god monarch and the undying god monarch had fallen. There were not many people like him in both the heaven realm and the evil god realm who were half a step into the martial god realm. According to what Lu Ming knew, this time around, neither the heaven realm nor the evil god tribe had such people come in and were guarding outside. Of course, this was only on the surface. Lu Ming was not sure if there were such people in the dark. He continued to advance, but the path he took after that was completely devoid of danger. It was calm and peaceful. Lu Ming had advanced at least a few thousand miles. Lu Ming was somewhat speechless. Although the castle looked huge from the outside, it was not that exaggerated. After entering, he realized that the space inside was shockingly large. Space technology was probably used. After a few thousand miles, the road became narrower, and only a few people could walk side by side. After traveling another 1,000 miles, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. A door had appeared in front of him. It was the end. Lu Ming strode forward, using the divine 9-dragon cauldron to protect himself, and rushed into the door. Behind the door was a vast hall. The hall was filled with brilliant light. Lu Ming was stunned when he saw it. The source of the light in the hall was a ball of light. In the hall there were balls of light. Each ball of light was dazzling, and there was a treasure in each ball of light. Yes, it was a treasure. Most of them were combat weapons. There were also some storage rings and bracelets. All of them were treasures, and there were hundreds of them. I am rich. Lu Ming was ecstatic. He then flew up and grabbed a ball of light. Buzz. However, when Lu Ming approached the ball of light seemed to have a mind of its own and flew away. Don't even think about leaving. Lu Ming chuckled. His muscles trembled and his body burst out. The way of the master condensed into a big hand and grabbed at the ball of light. This time, the ball of light could not fly away and was caught in Lu Ming's hands. However, after grabbing the ball of light, Lu Ming did not take out the combat weapon inside because it was blocked. The ball of light seemed to be formed by the array on it. It would not be easy to take out the treasure inside. Refine. Lu Ming released his nominator's power and began to refine the ball of light. Fortunately, the defensive power of the ball of light was not that strong. After a few minutes, Lu Ming had refined it. A long spear-like combat weapon fell into Lu Ming's hands. It's only equivalent to a great emperor weapon. Lu Ming took a look and was a little disappointed. This long spear was only equivalent to a great emperor weapon. It was not of much use to Lu Ming. However, it was not a bad idea to bring it out for others to use. Lu Ming kept it. Next, Lu Ming grabbed another ball of light. This ball of light was also a combat weapon, a combat sword. After Lu Ming caught it, he refined it for a few minutes before he took out his combat sword. They're equivalent to Heaven Dao soldiers. This time, Lu Ming was overjoyed. This combat sword was actually equivalent to a Heaven Dao soldier. It was filled with layers of strange arrays. Lu Ming injected energy into it and waved the combat sword, unleashing a shocking power. Weapons that were equivalent to the Heaven Dao soldiers were priceless. Lu Ming had not obtained many of them so far. Even if Lu Ming did not use it himself, he could bring it out and give it to the Celestial the Arch in the Heaven Realm to use. It could greatly improve the combat power in the Heaven Realm. After obtaining a Heaven Dao soldier-level combat weapon, Lu Ming's heart burned with passion. He continued to grab other orbs of light. Next, Lu Ming caught dozens of light orbs in succession. However, there weren't many Heaven soldiers. There were 5 of them among the 30 light balls, and the rest were all Emperor-level weapons. In addition, the storage rings and bracelets were all made up of divine stones. A large number of God stones. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He had really struck it rich this time. There were more than 30 light orbs and 5 weapons of the Heavenly Dao soldier level. Lu Ming was already very satisfied. There were a few hundred balls of light here, so wouldn't there be a few dozen Heaven Dao soldier-level weapons? If word of this got out, it would scare people to death. Also, with a large number of divine stones, Lu Ming would not have to worry about resources for a long time. Lu Ming was even more excited to collect the light orbs. At this moment, in another direction of the hall, dozens of figures flickered and rushed in from behind a door. The evil god race. They were all from the evil god race that Lu Ming had encountered previously. It seemed that after so much effort, these foreign races had finally opened up the path on the left, and the 2 paths on the left and right led to this hall. The moment these evil god race members saw the balls of light in the hall, their eyes shone with a fiery light. The moment they saw Lu Ming, their fiery glow turned into a cold, killing intent. It's Lu Ming. Damn it, he's not dead. The 6-star heavenly emperor of the foreign race roared. Lu Ming entered the path on the right. He did not die and had entered this place earlier than them. They were extremely puzzled. However, they did not think much about it now because they saw Lu Ming collecting the treasures. Their eyes were red. They had worked hard for a few months, and in their eyes, these treasures were all theirs. Kill him. The 6-star Celestial the Arch of the alien race shouted coldly. He held his saber and took the lead in attacking Lu Ming. The cold gleam of the blade slashed at Lu Ming. At the same time, the other alien races also attacked Lu Ming, trying to kill him. I was going to find you after I collected all these treasures. Now that you've come here, they'll send you on your way. Lu Ming said indifferently. With a single thought, the 9 divine 9-dragon cauldrons flew out. Buzz. The divine 9-dragon cauldron trembled and emitted a terrifying aura, which pressed down on the dozens of alien races. Not good. Feeling the power of the divine 9-dragon cauldron, the 6-star heavenly emperor realm alien was shocked. He unleashed his full power and turned his attack into a defense. However, the other alien races didn't react as quickly. Boom. When the divine 9-dragon cauldron came crashing down, the bodies of the foreign kinds with weaker cultivation bases exploded. Even a 5-star heavenly emperor was torn apart by the vast power of the divine 9-dragon cauldron and died on the spot. Only the 6-star heavenly emperor did not die, but he was seriously injured and retreated while spitting out blood. The divine 9-dragon cauldron's power was equivalent to a peak great emperor's power. How could these non-humans block it? Run! The non-human six-star heavenly emperor turned around and fled without thinking. But it was too late. The 9 cauldrons expanded rapidly and suppressed all directions, shrouding him within. No! The alien roared and slashed out with his saber, sending out hundreds of saber lights. Chapter 2488 Great Harvest. This alien was indeed very strong. He had the cultivation base of a 6-star heavenly emperor, and the saber in his hand was also a heavenly Tao soldier. However, the divine 9-dragon cauldron was no ordinary heaven Tao soldier. The ancestral dragon had told Lu Ming before that the divine 9-dragon cauldron was refined by the ancestral dragon for the 9 dragons. It had taken both the ancestral dragon and the 9 dragons' painstaking efforts. In the end, the 9 dragons had used it to suppress the passage. It was no trivial matter, and its power was far beyond that of an ordinary heaven Tao soldier. In fact, it had already surpassed the category of heaven Tao soldiers. Clang, clang, clang. The 6-star celestial thearch's saber kept hitting the divine 9-dragon cauldron, causing sparks to fly and the cauldron to shake. However, every time he collided with the divine 9-dragon cauldron, the 6-star heavenly emperor's body would shake. A powerful force blasted toward him, causing him to suffer heavy injuries. After hundreds of collisions, the other party spat out a large mouthful of blood. Cracks appeared on his body, and fresh blood seeped out. Lu Ming, this time, our clan's divine ancestor and the murderous heart divine ancestor will definitely recover to their peak. At that time, the heaven realm will be destroyed, and you will die without a burial place. The foreign celestial the arch roared. Console yourself and go on your way. Lu Ming said coldly. He tried his best to control the divine 9-dragon cauldron and bombarded it one after another. In the end, the 6-star heavenly emperor couldn't hold on any longer. His body cracked and then exploded, and his body and spirit were destroyed. With a wave of his hand, he kept the alien's storage bracelet. Lu Ming was not in a hurry to collect the treasures. Instead, he rushed toward the passageway that the alien had just come in from. He would first kill all the alien races and then collect the treasures. When they arrived at the passage, they saw blood-red true dragons wandering around. However, their numbers were much fewer than the ones on the right, and none of them were too strong. It was no wonder that the foreign races were able to rush over. Lu Ming did not hold back. He controlled the divine 9-dragon cauldron and devoured all the blood-red true dragons. He followed the path and walked outside. Indeed, there were some alien races guarding the place. They had all been killed by Lu Ming. Then, Lu Ming returned to the hall and began to collect the light orbs. After spending a few days, Lu Ming finally put away all the treasures in the light orbs. There were 35 Heaven Tao soldier-level weapons and the rest were emperor-level weapons. There were also a large number of divine stones. Lu Ming did not count them as they would be enough for a while. Especially the 35 Heaven Tao soldier-grade treasures. If he brought them out, it would probably cause a huge commotion. Although this netherworld mountain is dangerous, it also comes with opportunities. Lu Ming sighed. I wonder how little Qing, Bubbles, Dandan, and Feng Ling are doing? Lu Ming thought of Xian Yanqing and the rest. He could not help but feel worried. This Yellow Springs world could be said to be extremely dangerous. Not only did they have to face the alien races, but they also had to face the experts of the Yellow Springs world. If they were not careful, they would be in danger of dying. Xian Yanqing and Dandan were both at the Heavenly Emperor realm. As for Bubbles, Long Qin, Feng Ling, and the others, their cultivation levels were still low. There were also his 2 disciples. If they were to encounter the other party's Heavenly Emperor, they would probably be in danger. All of this would depend on luck. The vast netherworld mountain was huge and boundless. It was as big as the 9 heaven domains of the heaven realm combined. There were hundreds of forces in the various countries. In addition, there were also large areas of wilderness. There were many wilderness areas that were inaccessible to humans, but there were also cursed lands. There was a huge lake. The water in the lake was pitch black, and it emitted a shocking demonic qi. A figure suddenly appeared here. It was Xian Yanqing. Xian Yanqing's lips curled into a smile. He stepped into the lake and disappeared. In another place, in the middle of the mountain range, a mountain range suddenly split open. Gravel flew everywhere, and smoke and dust filled the air. When the dust settled, a huge tomb appeared in the direction of the crack in the mountain range. It was extremely huge and exuded a vast pressure. A figure rushed out from the rubble. I knew there would be a huge tomb here. The treasures in this tomb will be mine. The figure laughed and rushed into the tomb. In another direction, there was a strange terrain. The ground here was filled with passages that were connected to each other like a beehive. Two figures appeared at the entrance of a tunnel. The two figures were Lu Ming's two disciples, Lu Xiangxiang and Ouyang Moli. I didn't expect that there would be a cursed land in this barren mountain. Senior sister, should we go down and explore? Ouyang Moli asked. The two of them were lucky. They didn't expect to meet each other not long after entering Netherworld Mountain. Since we're here, of course we have to go in, Lu Xiangxiang said. At this moment, a strong wind suddenly blew in the honeycomb-like caves, and a terrifying suction force gushed out. Not good. Lu Xiangxiang and Ouyang Moli were about to escape, but it was too late. They were swept into the cave by the force. In other places, many people had their own fortuitous encounters and entered some wondrous places. The people of Netherworld Mountain could not enter these places. For example, Huang Ling, Long Chen, and the others had met the top experts of the Heaven Realm. They had explored a few cursed lands with them. Of course, there were also those who were unlucky and met with alien races, and were killed by them. Or, they were killed by the local experts of Netherworld Mountain. Of course, there were also alien races who were killed by the Heaven Realm experts. Lu Ming, for example, had killed many alien races after entering Netherworld Mountain. After Lu Ming kept all the treasures, he strolled around the hall. There were a few large doors in the hall. There were two large doors. They were the doors that Lu Ming and the rest had entered from. Lu Ming explored the rest one by one. However, these doors led to other side halls, and there was nothing to gain from those side halls. Very soon, there was only the last door left that Lu Ming had not explored. Lu Ming walked in. He went through many passages and arrived at a small hall. This hall was also empty, with only a statue. Lu Ming's eyes lit up at the sight of the statue. This was because the statue was exactly the same as the statue that Lu Ming had seen in the legacy site in the country of Fengming. Furthermore, this statue also exuded a ruler's will that was many times stronger than the one in the country of Fengming. Could it be that there's a statue like this in every cursed land? Lu Ming's eyes were burning with passion. To Lu Ming, the nominator's intent on the statue was more precious than anything else. It would allow Lu Ming's understanding of the way of the master to deepen rapidly. Comprehension. Lu Ming sat cross-legged in front of the statue and began to comprehend. Lu Ming circulated the path of domination and resonated with the statue. The statue emitted a strong domineering aura that enveloped Lu Ming. Lu Ming began to study it carefully. The ruler's will on this statue was much stronger than the one in the country of Fengming, so it would take much more time to comprehend it. Lu Ming spent 2 years in comprehension. Chapter 2489. Searching for the Cursed Land. In 2 years' time, Lu Ming had completely comprehended the will of domination on the statue. Lu Ming's understanding of the path of domination had improved greatly. However, Lu Ming felt that he was still a little short of breaking through to 5 stars Great Emperor. Although the sovereign intent on this statue was very strong, even stronger than the one in the country of Fengming, it was still very strong. However, as one's cultivation level increased, every breakthrough would be more difficult and the requirements would be higher. When the ruler's intent on the statue was completely comprehended, the statue cracked like the one in the country of Fengming. It was covered in cracks and finally exploded with a bang. It exploded. Lu Ming was filled with anticipation and ran up to take a look. In the country of Fengming, the statue had exploded. There was a fiery red fruit growing under the statue. After Lu Ming refined it, his physical body had a breakthrough. What would it be this time? There was nothing. When Lu Ming went up to take a look, he realized that there was a flat floor under the statue. There was nothing. Lu Ming was indignant. He searched the area carefully but still did not find anything. I was too greedy. Lu Ming touched his nose and smiled bitterly. It seemed that it was pure coincidence that there was a fiery red fruit growing under the statue in Fengming. Moreover, he had gained a lot this time. Lu Ming was satisfied. It's been more than 2 years. It's time to leave. Lu Ming smiled and left the place. After arriving at the platform outside, Lu Ming's body began to transform rapidly with a single thought. In the end, he turned into a purple-haired royal member of the evil god tribe. A third eye appeared between his brows. Lu Ming swaggered out of the cursed land. A group of Dragonians was still standing guard outside the cursed land. He's out. The group of Dragonians perked up when they saw Lu Ming. After all, it had been 2 years, and there had been no movement from the cursed lands. They had thought that all of the evil god race members had died in there. How is it? What did you find in there? A group of Dragonians surrounded Lu Ming after he came out. Everyone, we've encountered a troublesome matter inside. We don't have enough manpower, and another group of experts from my clan has arrived. I'm going to go and help, Lu Ming said. So that's how it is, then go. The Dragonians did not suspect him and let Lu Ming go. Lu Ming left this place easily and found a hidden place. He transformed into a Dragon Man and swaggered to the capital of the Dragon Man Kingdom. In the Dragon Man Kingdom's capital, Lu Ming began to collect a large number of materials related to the cursed land. If there was a statue in every cursed land, it would be of great use to Lu Ming. He might be able to cultivate his ruler Dao to an extremely high level in Netherworld Mountain. To Lu Ming, time was the only thing he was lacking. After all, Lu Ming had only been cultivating for less than 200 years. To the Celestial the Arch, who had been cultivating for hundreds of thousands or millions of years, it was just a fraction of the total. If the foreign race's divine ancestor managed to obtain a healing treasure on this trip to Netherworld Mountain, the final battle would be upon them. Before that, Lu Ming had to make the best use of his time and improve quickly. Lu Ming had stayed in the capital of the Dragon Man Empire for 2 months. He had read a large number of ancient books and records about the cursed lands. There were many cursed lands in Netherworld Mountain. Some were located in important places such as near the capital of Fengming Country and the Dragon Man Empire. These places were usually guarded by experts from the native living beings of Netherworld Mountain. As for the cursed lands in the wild, because they were too isolated and the locals could not enter, they were rarely visited by people and were often left unattended. Lu Ming's target was the cursed lands in the wild. Let's go to Yanming Mountain. Lu Ming confirmed his target and left the capital of the Dragon Man Empire. After traveling more than 100,000 miles, he transformed into his true form and summoned Heavenly Venerate's 6 sages and the rest from the small world. Senior 6 saints, I'm going to Yanming Mountain next. Lu Ming told him his goal. Well, go with you, the Celestial said. All right. Lu Ming nodded. The group moved together and headed towards Yanmingshan. Blazing Mountain was extremely remote and was located in the wilderness. There were very few people there, but there was a cursed place, Blazing Mountain. After flying for tens of millions of miles, they arrived at the Yanming Underground Palace. However, they were attacked the moment they entered. This underground palace had a type of puppet that was covered in flames and was very powerful. The group broke through all the way in. This underground palace should not have been plundered by anyone. Everyone had obtained many good things. However, compared to Lu Ming's gains in the Dragon People Empire, these were considered small. Lu Ming saw another statue in the depths of the underground palace. Who exactly is the owner of this statue? There's a statue in every cursed land. Could it be the master of Netherworld Mountain? Lu Ming guessed in his heart. Moreover, this statue also had a strong sense of domination. However, compared to the statue in the cursed land of the Dragon Man Empire, it was not much different. Lu Ming spent some time and completely understood it. The statue also shattered, but there was still nothing under the statue. After that, they left the Yanming Underground Palace and headed to the next cursed land. In the following days, Lu Ming and the rest went to various cursed lands in the wilderness. Some of them had some gains, but some of them were empty. Obviously, they had been plundered. However, to Lu Ming, every cursed land was a treasure trove. This was because there was a statue in every cursed land. Heavenly venerates 6 saints, and the rest knew that the statue would be of great use to Lu Ming. Therefore, they waited patiently in every cursed zone. Moreover, they had encountered alien races in some of the cursed lands and fought them. However, with Lu Ming's current combat strength, he could easily defeat those alien races. Just like that, time passed by quickly. In the blink of an eye, 20 years had passed. In the past 20 years, Lu Ming and the rest had explored no less than 20 cursed lands. Unfortunately, many of the statues in the cursed lands did not have a strong dominator's will. Lu Ming could easily comprehend them, but it did not improve his Tao of domination much. Even so, Lu Ming's cultivation level had improved and he had become a 5-star great emperor. Lu Ming's abilities had also improved. Now that Lu Ming had unleashed his full power, the combination of the way of domination and his physical body was enough to rival a 6-star heavenly emperor. I still need to find some large cursed lands. Lu Ming was deep in thought as he sat cross-legged under a statue in the cursed land. Over the years, Lu Ming had come to a conclusion. In a small-scale cursed land, the dominator's aura on the statue was relatively thin. The larger it was, the stronger the dominator's intent was and the more useful it was to Lu Ming. Chapter 2490 Situation changes. However, many of those large-scale cursed lands were in the hands of some major forces. For example, those forces with invincible powerhouses. Also, the most powerful force in Netherworld Mountain, the Netherworld Empire, was the most cursed land. Without a doubt, the Yellow Springs Empire was the ruler of the Yellow Springs world and the only force with a god. Moreover, there was more than one deity who commanded the entire Yellow Springs world. It could be said that all the forces in the Yellow Springs world were vassals of the Yellow Springs Empire. The Yellow Springs Empire. At the thought of the Yellow Springs Empire, Lu Ming was filled with anticipation. He had checked the records before and knew that the most cursed land in the Yellow Springs world was in the Yellow Springs Empire. It was said that there was a life fruit in the cursed land that could heal even the most severe injuries. Even if it was a god, it would have great effects. Moreover, there were other treasures inside. Lu Ming reckoned that the ancestral dragon and the divine ancestor of the non-human race would definitely go to the Yellow Springs Empire because only the fruit of life there could heal their injuries. However, that place wasn't a place he could go to right now. It would be a waste to go there against an existence like the foreign race's divine ancestor. It was better to focus on improving his strength first. Lu Ming closed his eyes and meditated on the will of domination on the statue before him. The dominator's intent from the statue was very faint. Lu Ming spent less than a month to fully comprehend it. After searching for a while and finding nothing else, Lu Ming met up with 6th Saint and headed outside. After leaving the ruins, they chose a direction and flew off. Wait! After flying for a while, Lu Ming suddenly spoke and then stopped. The others also stopped. No, this area is too quiet. The experienced heavenly venerate 6 sages immediately sensed that something was amiss. This area was completely silent, as if there were no living beings, not even insects. Something was definitely wrong. At this moment, a large number of figures flashed in all directions and surrounded Lu Ming and the rest. Some of them were at the Great Emperor realm and some were at the Heavenly Emperor realm. All of them were glaring at Lu Ming and the rest with cold killing intent. Everyone, who are you? Why are you surrounding us? Lu Ming asked. The person who will kill you. A cold voice rang out, and 2 figures walked out of the crowd. Evil God Tribe. Lu Ming, 6 sages, and the others were stunned when they saw the 2 of them. Lu Ming. When the 2 members of the Evil God Tribe looked at Lu Ming, their eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Kill them. One of the Evil God Tribe members gave the order. Buzz. Buzz. Whoosh. Immediately, the experts moved and charged towards Lu Ming and the rest. Hundreds of attacks were about to drown them. The strongest is the 5-star Heavenly Emperor. As soon as these people attacked, Lu Ming could determine their strength. The strongest were the 5-star Heavenly Emperors. There were only 2 of them. The others were all below the 5-star Heavenly Emperor. Lu Ming immediately summoned the divine 9-dragon cauldron. The 9 divine 9-dragon cauldrons floated around him and blocked all the attacks. Then, with a shake, they blasted in all directions. The divine 9-dragon cauldron was so powerful that these people couldn't block it. The terrifying power blasted out, and screams rang out. These people's bodies exploded one by one. Even the 2 5-star Heavenly Emperors were the same. Their bodies exploded and they died on the spot. The 2 1-star Heavenly Emperors from the evil god race had even weaker cultivation bases, but they were also killed instantly. Lu Ming dashed past them and kept all the storage rings. "Let's go," Lu Ming said. Everyone left the place at top speed and flew north. However, their expressions were grave along the way. Apart from the 2 members of the evil god race, the rest of the people from earlier were obviously natives. Could it be that some major power had been controlled by the evil god race, so they had sent people to guard the cursed lands and hunt down the Heaven Realm's experts? That was their guess. They flew all the way, and 2 days later, they arrived near another cursed land. However, they saw a massacre near the cursed land. A group of people was besieging more than a dozen Heaven Realm experts. Moreover, those Heaven Realm masters were obviously at a disadvantage. There were already 7 or 8 corpses on the ground, some of which were from the human clan, and some from the divine beast clan. The ones who surrounded the Heaven Realm experts were obviously natives. However, they saw a few evil god tribesmen among them. "Kill!" Lu Ming and the rest did not hesitate and charged out. Lu Ming's control of the divine 9-dragon cauldron was equivalent to that of a peak Heavenly Emperor. There was no suspense in the battle. Lu Ming had completely annihilated these people and a few members of the evil god tribe. Many thanks. The Heaven Realm experts were overjoyed to have survived the disaster and thanked Lu Ming and the others. "Everyone, what's going on?" Lu Ming asked. "We don't know either." They had just finished exploring this cursed land and left the cursed land for a short distance before they were surrounded. One of the men said, "The situation is the same." Lu Ming furrowed his eyebrows. For the past 2 days, they had been hurrying on their journey. They had already left the territory of the previous force and arrived at another force. However, this force's actions were the same as the previous forces. Could it be that the surrounding major forces were all controlled by the evil god tribe? Or was he working with the evil god race? Lu Ming had a bad feeling in his heart. After that, everyone gathered and left the place together. A day later, they arrived at the vicinity of a huge city. However, there were people checking the city gates around the city. "Let's go and take a look." After discussing, Lu Ming and the rest changed their appearances, concealed their aura, and walked toward a city gate. "All of you, when you enter the city, you must pass through this door, understand?" One of the Tauren widened his eyes and chided. Lu Ming discovered that there was a pitch-black door outside the city gate. It was not big and there were many strange lines carved on it. Everyone who wanted to enter the city had to pass through this door. Buzz. Suddenly, when a white-haired old man passed through the door emitted a brilliant light. "The aura of the Heaven Realm, kill him!" A cold shout rang out. Then, experts pounced out from all directions. So many experts! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. 2 5-star Heavenly Emperors and 1 6-star Heavenly Emperor instantly rushed out. The white-haired old man shouted and retreated, but it was too late. Bang! Bang! A few attacks landed on the white-haired old man, killing him directly. Lu Ming and the rest could not help but stop in their tracks. "Damn it! It's the evil god race!" Someone growled. However, he kept his voice low and didn't let it out. "It's definitely the evil god tribe. The door they created can detect the Heaven Realm aura on our bodies," the Celestial said. Chapter 2491 Great Battle against Duo Lei. A person's aura could be concealed, but the aura of the world was hard to conceal. What was the aura of the world? For example, if one was born in the Heaven Realm or the Primordial Realm and cultivated in these 2 worlds for a long time, comprehending the nomological laws of the 2 worlds and absorbing the original chi of the 2 worlds, one's body would naturally carry the aura of the 2 worlds. This kind of aura was contained in the essence of life and was very difficult to conceal or remove. This was the essence of the world. After the old man entered the door, he was detected to have the aura of the heaven realm and was killed. Who would specifically search for living beings from the heaven realm? It was definitely the evil god tribe. It was obvious that the evil god tribe had created this gate. Anyone who wanted to enter the city would be detected to have the aura of the heaven realm. The people from the evil god world or netherworld mountain did not have the aura of the heaven realm. Let's go! Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to everyone and then turned to leave silently. The group left the place, and 2 days later, they arrived at another large city. However, they found that there were also people checking in this big city, and there were also gates that could detect the aura of the people of the heaven realm. They left silently. In the next half a month, they traveled a long distance and passed by 5 to 6 forces and 7 to 8 big cities. But it was the same. All the forces and all the cities had people checking. What's going on? Could it be that all the powerful forces have been controlled by the evil god tribe? Someone growled, his eyes red. Lu Ming and the rest also looked grave. The premonition in their hearts grew stronger. This is troublesome. Looking at the current situation, it seemed like the evil god race was controlling all of them. If this went on, the beings of the heaven realm would lose countless experts. Furthermore, there were some important cursed lands that they could not enter. They were all going to be taken over by the evil god tribe. What do we do now? Someone asked. If they went to the cursed lands, they would be ambushed by the enemy, and they could not enter some of the important cities. Now, where should he go? To the Yellow Springs Empire. Lu Ming said. The Yellow Springs Empire? The other people's faces changed. The Yellow Springs Empire was the most powerful force in the Yellow Springs world. It had more than one god and many experts. Moreover, the biggest cursed land was in the Yellow Spring Empire. The ancestral dragon and the non-human divine ancestor would probably rush to the Yellow Spring Empire. These people were not enough to go to the Yellow Spring Empire. Yes, to the Yellow Springs Empire. I have a feeling that something has happened there. Otherwise, why do the surrounding forces all listen to the evil god tribe's orders? Lu Ming frowned. All right, let's go. All right. The others all nodded. They immediately flew in the direction of the Yellow Springs Empire. They specifically flew to remote places and did not pass by those big cities. Boom, boom. After flying for a few days, they suddenly heard a violent roar from ahead. Clang. There was a terrifying collision. They saw a long spear shoot up into the sky as if it was going to pierce through the firmament. At the same time, a huge battle axe appeared, crossing the sky and colliding with the long spear. Even though they were far away, they could still feel the terrifying pressure. The peak heavenly emperors are fighting. The faces of heavenly venerate 6 sages and the others changed drastically. Buzz. At this moment, a bull's roar reverberated through the world. The world shook and many mountains exploded. The Titanos, Lu Ming exclaimed in shock. Lu Ming would not have misheard the Titan longhorn beetle's voice. He had heard it a few times. It was obvious that the Titan longhorn and the others had encountered a powerful enemy. Let's go! Without any hesitation, Lu Ming flew forward. Heavenly venerate 6 sages and the others also flew forward. After flying for some distance, they finally saw the scene in front of them. Lu Ming saw the Titan longhorn beetle and the 9 lives devilish silkworm. There were more than 50 people from the heaven realm. However, they were surrounded by a group of people. Among them, there were experts from the evil god tribe and Netherworld Mountain. There were more than 100 of them, which was double the number of experts from the heaven realm. The heavenly realm was completely focused on defense. On the heaven realm side, the Titan longhorn beetle and the 9 lives devilish silkworm weren't the strongest. They had yet to recover from their serious injuries and only had the battle prowess of a 5-star heavenly emperor and a 6-star heavenly emperor respectively. On the heaven realm side, there was a burly man in battle armor holding a spear. His combat strength was unparalleled, and he was a peak heavenly emperor. However, the other party also had a peak heavenly emperor. Dole. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The peak Heavenly Emperor was actually Duo Lei, the one who guarded the eternal cage in the evil god realm. He and the armored man from the heaven realm were locked in a fierce battle. However, the other people in the heaven realm were at a disadvantage. This was because the evil god tribe had a total of 9 6-star heavenly emperors. Experts of this level were completely above the heaven realm. The Titan Longhorn Beetle, the 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm, and several other heaven realm experts were all defending with all their might, but they were still at a disadvantage. If this continued, defeat was only a matter of time. Charge out. The Titan Longhorn Beetle roared and transformed into its true form. Its horns were as sharp as blades as it charged forward. However, he had been severely injured in the past and was only a 5-star heavenly emperor now. He was forced to retreat by a 6-star heavenly emperor with one move. There were too many experts on the other side, and they were completely unable to charge out. Titan Longhorn and 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm, you were lucky enough to survive the ancient battle. This time, they'll send you on your way. Attack with all your might and kill them as soon as possible. Duo Lei said coldly. The others' attacks became even more violent. At this moment, Lu Ming and the rest were rushing over. Many people could not help but look at Lu Ming and the rest. Lu Ming, it's you. After seeing Lu Ming, Duo Lei let out an angry roar. His cold killing intent seemed to be able to freeze the world. Back then, he had been guarding the eternal cage, but Lu Ming had escaped with a group of people. This had caused him to be punished by the higher-ups of the evil god tribe. Not only that, but he was also laughed at by the other members of the evil god tribe. It should be known that no one had ever escaped from the eternal cage since ancient times. However, during the time when Duo Lei was guarding the place, someone had managed to escape, and so many experts had escaped. All of this was Lu Ming's fault. It was all Lu Ming's fault. Duo Lei regarded this as a great humiliation and was thinking of how to settle scores with Lu Ming every day. At this moment, when he saw Lu Ming, he was really envious. As for the Titan Longhorn and the 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm, their expressions changed drastically when they saw Lu Ming. Lu Ming, let's go. The Titanos roared. There were too many experts on the other side. Lu Ming's current cultivation level was still weak. If he charged forward, he would simply be courting death. It's too late to leave now. Let me send him on his way. A 6-star heavenly emperor from the evil god tribe laughed and charged at Lu Ming. Kill! Lu Ming did not retreat at all. He controlled the divine 9-dragon cauldron and blasted it at his opponent. Boom! The divine 9-dragon cauldron pressed down, and a terrifying power burst out, crushing the other party. Chapter 2492, Unknown Fate of the Ancestral Dragon. The power of the 9 divine 9-dragon cauldrons was equivalent to that of a peak heavenly emperor. It was terrifying. The attack of the evil god race member was instantly destroyed. After being struck by the terrifying power, his body trembled violently and he retreated rapidly while spitting out large mouthfuls of blood. Everyone was shocked. A 6-star heavenly emperor was actually repelled by Lu Ming in one move and spat out a large mouthful of blood. How was this possible? Lu Ming was so powerful? Even the Titan Longhorn Beetle blinked its huge eyes, thinking that it was seeing things. Kill! Lu Ming shouted as he forced his opponent to retreat. He continued to control the divine 9-dragon cauldron to attack his opponent. Quickly come and help me. The evil god race member was shocked and retreated frantically. Buzz! Buzz! At that moment, 3 more people charged at Lu Ming. The 3 of them were all 6-star heavenly emperors. In addition to the evil god tribe, there were a total of 4 6-star heavenly emperors. 2 members of the evil god tribe, 2 natives. The 4 of them unleashed their full power and attacked together, unleashing a terrifying attack. Boom! Boom! The 4 6-star heavenly emperors' attacks hit the divine 9-dragon cauldron one after another. The divine 9-dragon cauldron kept shaking, but the 4 powerhouses were also forced to retreat and almost spit blood. Peak heavenly emperor! One of them said with a grave expression. Lu Ming's combat strength was already equivalent to a peak heavenly emperor. Kill! Lu Ming continued to control the divine 9-dragon cauldron, blasting it at the other party continuously. The 9 divine cauldrons resonated with each other. The roars of dragons reverberated, and the power was extremely strong. The other party had 4 6-star heavenly emperors, but they were still no match for him. They were suppressed by Lu Ming and kept retreating. At this moment, Heavenly venerates 6 sages and the others had already arrived and were attacking the other party. It was difficult to tell who was stronger. This way, the pressure on the heaven realm would be greatly reduced. Ha, good. The Titan Longhorn Beetle laughed as it charged forward with all its might. His strength was really amazing. Even though he was only a 5-star heavenly emperor, he could still fight a 6-star heavenly emperor for a while. Boom, boom. After a series of collisions, the other party had to retreat with each collision. Lu Ming had the upper hand. Finally, the evil god tribe member who had been injured by Lu Ming could not take it anymore and spat out a large mouthful of blood. Come and help us. The evil god tribe member roared. There were a total of 9 6-star heavenly emperors. The other 2 wanted to rush over to help and attack Lu Ming together. However, the Titan Longhorn Beetle, the 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm, and the others used all their strength to hold their opponent back. As a result, the battle turned into a stalemate. Lu Ming's side even had a slight upper hand. Damn it. Duo Lei roared, his face contorted. It was Lu Ming again. Lu Ming had destroyed it. Today, they could have killed the few Heaven Realm experts in one fell swoop. However, because of Lu Ming's appearance, the battle situation was now tilted. Lu Ming die. Duo Lei's face was contorted in anger. He roared and launched an attack at Lu Ming, but it was blocked by the Divine 9-Dragon Cauldron. Now that Lu Ming was controlling the Divine 9-Dragon Cauldron, he was not afraid of Duo Lei's attack at all. Duo Lei, how have you been? No, you don't look good. Ha. Lu Ming laughed sarcastically. At the same time, he intensified his attacks, forcing the other party to retreat. The 4 6-star heavenly emperors could only block him for a short time, but they couldn't hold on for long. Retreat. Duo Lei bellowed and launched a frenzied attack. After exchanging a few moves with the armored burly man, he took the time to launch a few attacks at Lu Ming, blocking his Divine 9-Dragon Cauldron. The 4 6-star heavenly emperors took the opportunity to retreat and join the other 5 6-star heavenly emperors. Lu Ming continued to attack. However, the other party did not linger in the battle and quickly retreated. Duo Lei had also shaken off his opponent and joined up with the rest of the evil god tribe members, retreating as they fought. The forces of Duo Lei and the rest were only slightly weaker than that of Lu Ming's group. If they were bent on retreating now, it would be difficult for Lu Ming's group to make them stay. After chasing for a while, Duo Lei and the others finally retreated. Lu Ming, I didn't expect your abilities to have reached such a level. It's all thanks to your help this time. The Titan Longhorn Beetle walked over to express its gratitude. Senior, you're too kind. I also relied on the Divine 9-Dragon Cauldron. Lu Ming smiled and put away the Divine 9-Dragon Cauldron. After that, everyone introduced themselves to each other. Lu Ming knew that the burly man in armor was called Jianghu. He was a top expert who rose to power after the ancient battle. He had a peak Heavenly Emperor cultivation base and had been cultivating in the lair of Zulong all this while. Seniors, do you know what happened? On our way here, we discovered that the local major powers seem to be working together with the evil god tribe. Lu Ming asked, something big has happened. Jianghu sighed. The Titan Longhorn Beetle, the 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm, and the others also had grave expressions. Lu Ming and the 6 sages were both shocked. Even powerhouses like the Titan Longhorn Beetle, who had seen many great things, were like this. What exactly had happened? The reason why the surrounding forces are all listening to the evil god tribe and cooperating with them to deal with the Heaven Realm is because of the order from the Yellow Spring Empire. The Titan Longhorn Beetle said, Yellow Springs Empire, it's really the Yellow Springs Empire. Senior, what happened to the Yellow Springs Empire? Lu Ming asked. The Yellow Springs world's biggest cursed land is within the Yellow Springs Empire. It said that there's a life fruit inside that can cure even the most serious injuries. It can even cure the injuries of deities. However, if you want to enter the Cursed Land, you must get the help of the upper echelons of the Yellow Spring Empire. Therefore, Senior Ancestral Dragon and the non-human race's Saint Ancestor have come to the Yellow Spring Empire to cooperate with them. In this way, there will be competition. We've received news that Senior Ancestral Dragon was defeated. The divine ancestor of the non-human race has won the trust of the upper echelons of the Yellow Spring Empire. The Titanos explained. What? Lu Ming and the rest were shocked. Zulong had lost in the competition for the Yellow Springs Empire. They finally understood why the surrounding major forces would cooperate with the evil god tribe to deal with the people from the Heaven Realm. That was the order of the Yellow Springs Empire. Who in the Yellow Springs world dared to disobey the order of the Yellow Springs Empire? Then, Senior Ancestral Dragon someone asked in a hoarse voice. His life and death is unknown, the Titan Longhorn Beetle said. Boom, boom, boom. It was as if thunder had exploded in everyone's minds. His life and death were unknown. No one knew whether the ancestral dragon was dead or alive. This was an unbearable blow to any living being in the Heaven Realm. The ancestral dragon was the backbone of the Heaven Realm. Now, in the entire Heaven Realm and the Primordial Realm, only Zulong had reached the Martial God Realm. The evil god tribe, on the other hand, had the non-human sacred ancestor and the sacred ancestor Bloodheart, who only had a wisp of his bloodline left. Within the war god level, they had always been at a disadvantage, and they constantly felt a sense of danger. If something happened to the ancestral dragon, then there would be no hope for the Heaven Realm and the Primordial Realm. They wouldn't be a match for the evil god tribe and would be doomed to be destroyed. Heavenly venerates 6 sages and the others all looked desperate. Chapter 2493 Meeting Xian Yenqing Degree. How could they fight this battle without the ancestral dragon? Senior Ancestral Dragon, you've experienced the ancient war. What kind of danger have you not encountered? Moreover, you're an expert in the martial god realm. We can't compare with you. I don't think I'll be in trouble so easily. Lu Ming said. I feel the same way. We don't have to worry fearlessly. What we have to do is to improve ourselves as much as possible and kill the evil god tribe. Zhan Li said. Although he said that, everyone's hearts were still weighed down by a huge stone that was difficult to let go. There was more than one god in the Yellow Springs Empire. If they worked with the non-human divine ancestor to deal with the ancestral dragon, the situation would be hard to say. After all, the ancestral dragon was still injured and not in his peak state. Lu Ming, where are you guys going? The Titan Longhorn Beetle asked. We were going to the Yellow Springs Empire to find out more about the situation. Now, I've decided to go to the imperial capital of the Yellow Springs Empire. Lu Ming said. To the Netherworld Imperial Capital? The expressions of the Titan Longhorn Beetle and the others changed. That's right. I want to find out more about Senior Ancestral Dragon. Anyway, we can't go to the other forces or other cursed lands. We might as well go to the Netherworld Imperial Capital. Lu Ming said. Instead of hiding and wasting time, he might as well go to the Yellow Springs Empire and find out the situation. Only by knowing the specific situation would they be able to respond better. However, the gates of the imperial capital of the Netherworld have been tampered with by the evil god tribe. As soon as we, the living beings of the Heaven Realm, approach, we will be discovered. There is no way we can enter the imperial capital of the Netherworld. Zhan Li sighed. Senior, I won't take risks easily. If I really can't get in, I'll stay near the Yellow Springs Empire and see if I can get anything. Lu Ming said. How about this, let's go together. The more people there are, the better we can look out for each other. The 9 Lives devilish silkworm rarely spoke. All right, let's go together. Zhan Li, the Titan Longhorn Beetle, and the others all nodded their heads. That's good. Seniors, you can all enter my small world. It will be more convenient for me to act alone. Lu Ming said. All right. The others nodded. With a single thought, Lu Ming's small world appeared. Everyone turned into rays of light and entered Lu Ming's small world. After that, Lu Ming changed his appearance and headed to the Netherworld Imperial Capital alone. The Yellow Springs Empire, the ruler of the Yellow Springs world, had a vast territory. The territory of the Yellow Springs Empire alone was comparable to the Taiching Heavenly region. Around the Yellow Springs Empire, there were other forces of various sizes. Lu Ming moved alone and his speed increased sharply. He traversed the void and was many times faster than before. In less than a day, Lu Ming had arrived near the Netherworld imperial capital. The capital of the Netherworld kingdom was extremely majestic. It was even larger than Two World City. It was larger than any city that Lu Ming had ever seen. There were many roads leading to the capital of the Netherworld kingdom. Tens of thousands of miles away from the Yellow Springs Empire, there were towering mountains. Lu Ming appeared on a mountain and looked into the distance. As expected, the city gates of the Netherworld imperial capital had been tampered with by the evil god race. As long as one entered, they would be able to detect the aura of the heaven realm. Lu Ming changed his direction and looked at the other city gates. It was the same. Lu Ming even saw traces of the evil god tribe at some of the city gates. How can I sneak into the Netherworld imperial capital? Lu Ming frowned. If they could not enter the Netherworld imperial capital, it would be very difficult for them to obtain useful information. Who is it? Suddenly, Lu Ming turned around and shouted coldly. His gaze was as sharp as a sword. He could feel that there was a disturbance in the space behind him. Lu Ming, your spiritual senses are getting sharper. A light chuckle was heard. Then, a figure flashed and a stunning woman appeared. Little Qing. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Who else could this beautiful woman be other than Xian Yanqing? Lu Ming did not expect to meet Xian Yanqing here. Lu Ming, you've made great progress in your cultivation. Xian Yanqing smiled charmingly. He walked over and held Lu Ming's hand. As your man, how can I not improve? I'll be surpassed by you. Lu Ming smiled. At the same time, he also noticed that Xian Yanqing had improved a lot. Now, Xian Yanqing's cultivation had reached the level of a 5-star heavenly emperor. When they entered Netherworld Mountain, Xian Yanqing was a 2-star heavenly emperor. In just 20 years, his cultivation had broken through 3 levels. This was extremely shocking. Xian Yanqing was a heavenly emperor, not a great emperor. It was extremely difficult for a heavenly emperor to advance. Breaking through 3 levels in a row in over 20 years. If this were to be known, it would be terrifying. Lu Ming realized that ever since Xian Yanqing devoured her memories from her previous life, her cultivation speed had become even more terrifying. It was much faster than before she devoured them. However, even so, it could not have happened so quickly. Lu Ming knew that Xian Yanqing must have had a fortuitous encounter in Netherworld Mountain. Moreover, Xian Yanqing's combat power was extremely strong. Back when he was a peak emperor, he could already fight Lu Ming. Although Xian Yanqing was a 5-star heavenly emperor now, he could definitely fight a peak emperor or even stronger. You're so smug. Do you believe that he'll beat you to the ground right now? Xian Yanqing rolled his eyes at Lu Ming, but his face was full of smiles. Little Qing, why are you here? Lu Ming asked. Right now, there are traces of the evil god tribe everywhere. The other powers are all working with the evil god tribe. I heard that something happened to the ancestral dragon here, so I came to take a look. Xian Yanqing said. It's a pity that the evil god tribe has set up formations that can detect the aura of the heaven realm at all the city gates. We can't get in at all. Otherwise, we could go in and ask for some information. Lu Ming said helplessly. The entire Yellow Springs Empire's city walls were set up with a large formation. One couldn't fly in directly. If they wanted to enter, they had to enter through the 4 city gates. That's easy. I have a way to cover up the aura of the heaven realm on my body. Xian Yanqing said. Do you have a way to hide the aura of the heaven realm? Lu Ming was shocked and very surprised. It was easy to conceal one's aura. However, the auras of worlds like the heaven realm and the primordial realm were shapeless and incorporeal. They couldn't be sensed normally, but they were engraved into one's bones and soul. They couldn't be erased. You're a creature from the heaven realm and the primordial realm, so you're born with the marks of these 2 worlds. How could Xian Yanqing cover it up? On second thought, Lu Ming felt at ease. Xian Yanqing had devoured the memories of his previous life. Her background in her previous life was probably very shocking and unfathomable. It was normal for her to have all kinds of wondrous methods. Well, now you know how powerful I am. Xian Yanqing smiled, then his 10 fingers bloomed like a lotus flower. Strange patterns appeared and finally condensed into a black lotus. The black lotus flew toward Lu Ming and fused into his body. All right, I'm done, Xian Yanqing said as she continued to form seals. A lotus flower appeared on her body and disappeared in a flash. Chapter 2494. The Life or Death Pill? All right, let's go, Lu Ming said. Naturally, he didn't doubt the effectiveness of Xian Yanqing's method. He had complete trust in Xian Yanqing. The two of them changed their appearances, concealed their auras, and flew toward the gates of the Netherworld Imperial Capital. When they came to the city gate and looked at it up close, they realized that there were runes carved on both sides of the city gate. This was the formation set up by the evil god race. As long as a creature from the heaven realm or the primordial realm entered, those runes would immediately react. On both sides of the city gate, there was a team of armored soldiers guarding. They're all celestial emperors. Lu Ming sensed that the soldiers guarding the city gate were all powerhouses of the heavenly emperor realm. In addition, there were some experts lying in wait near the city gate. Although they were well hidden, Lu Ming had mastered the Tao of domination and ruled the heaven and earth. His senses were extremely sharp and he could easily sense them. They were all experts, and there were even peak heavenly emperors. Lu Ming was secretly shocked by the strength of the Yellow Springs Empire. The Yellow Springs world was definitely stronger than either the heaven realm or the evil god realm. Even if the two joined forces, they would not be able to compare. Fortunately, the people of the Yellow Springs world had been cursed for generations, making it difficult for them to leave the Yellow Springs mountain. Otherwise, the situation outside would have changed a long time ago. The two of them swaggered into the capital of the Netherworld Empire. There were people of all races in the Netherworld Imperial Capital. There were also many humans. Naturally, no one paid attention to Lu Ming and his companion. The two of them walked around but did not find any traces of the evil god tribe. They found someone to sound them out but did not get much useful information. The two of them simply found an inn to stay in. For the next 10 days, the two of them wandered around the Netherworld Imperial Capital, but they did not obtain much useful information. On this day, the two of them strolled around the largest market in the imperial capital of the Netherworld. In the Yellow Springs world, there were many treasures that couldn't be found outside. The two of them also bought some. That is, the first prince. Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. In front of him, he saw a young man with golden hair. This young man was the first prince, who was ranked first on the evil god tribe's longevity roll. The third eye between the first prince's brows was closed. His head was full of golden hair, and he was no different from a human. He was extremely handsome, like a natural sun, attracting the attention of others wherever he went. Around them, some young women kept looking at Prince De with shining eyes. However, when they saw the woman beside the first prince, their eyes dimmed. It was an extremely beautiful woman. She wore a purple one-piece dress that accentuated her perfect figure. Compared to her, the other women around her paled in comparison. Most importantly, this woman came from a huge family in the Yellow Spring Imperial Capital. It was the biggest alchemist family in the Yellow Spring Empire, the OU family. Oh Xing, the young miss of the OU family, how could those women dare to compare? The first prince and the young miss of the OU family, Oh Xing, were very close to each other as they shopped and bought things together. Lu Ming pulled Xian Yanqing along and followed behind the two of them from a distance. Since he had encountered the first prince, Lu Ming would not let him go easily. The first prince had a very high status in the evil god tribe and should know many secrets. After the first prince and Oh Xing strolled around, they left the city square and walked towards a bustling street. Not long after, they entered a wide mansion. The two of them followed him in. With Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's current cultivation, it was impossible for the first prince and Oh Xing to notice them. There was a huge courtyard behind the mansion. In the courtyard, there was a lake, and in the middle of the lake, there was a pavilion. The first prince and Xing came to the pavilion. The first prince held Xing's waist with one hand and chatted with her. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing appeared not far away. Lu Ming waved his hand and the space cracked open. He and Xian Yanqing entered the crack and appeared in the sky above the pavilion. When Lu Ming was at the true emperor realm, he had already comprehended the space-time law. Now that he had transformed into the ruler's Tao, his control over space had reached the point of perfection. The first prince and Xing didn't notice the two of them at all as they were in the space above the pavilion. Moreover, the conversation between the two of them was clearly transmitted to Lu Ming and the rest. Xing, I've heard that your OU family has a life and death pill. Is that true? The first prince asked. Of course it's true. Our OU family is the #1 alchemist family in the Yellow Spring Empire. Xing laughed lightly and her tone carried a hint of pride. Is the life or death pill really as magical as the legends say? The first prince asked again. Of course. You should know that there's a tree of life on the Yellow Springs Island, the biggest cursed land in the Yellow Springs Empire. The tree of life will bear a kind of fruit called the fruit of life after a long period of time. The fruit of life possesses the miraculous power of nature. No matter how serious the injury is, it can heal it. It can even heal the injuries of gods. The life or death pill is made from the life fruit. Before the myriad tribulation, there were people from beyond the heavens like you who brought the life fruit from the Netherworld Island. My OU family was fortunate enough to obtain one and refined it into 9 life or death pills. Although the life or death pill isn't as effective as the fruit of life, it's only useless to immortals. For those below the immortal level, no matter how serious their injuries are, even if their life essence is damaged, one pill can cure them. After so many years of consumption, my OU clan only has 3 pills left. Xing explained, and her proud expression became even stronger. Life or death pill? Lu Ming's eyes were burning with passion. The life or death pill was actually refined from the fruit of life. No matter how serious the injury was, one pill would be able to heal it. Even if the source of one's life was injured, it would be the same. Lu Ming was tempted. The injury to his life source was no ordinary injury. Ordinary injuries were nothing to great emperors and heavenly emperor-level figures. Even if their bodies were to explode, they could be healed. However, it would be very difficult to recover if one's life essence was injured. If the battle was too intense, many experts would be injured. For example, the Titan longhorn beetle, the 9 lives devilish silkworm, the ancestral dragon, and the non-human divine ancestor had all been injured. They hadn't fully recovered after so many years. However, the life or death pill could heal these injuries quickly. If he could obtain the life or death pill, wouldn't the injuries of the Titan longhorn beetle and the 9 lives devilish silkworm be able to heal quickly and return to their peak state? Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing continued to listen. It's so amazing. Xing, I'm really curious. Can you let me take a look at the life or death pill? The first prince said. Let you see? I can't let this happen. If my father and the old ancestor find out, I won't be able to bear the consequences. Xing said. Xing, I'm just curious and want to take a look. Take a look and take it back. They won't know. Don't you even believe me? The first prince said gently. In the beginning, Xing didn't agree. After the first prince's coaxing and pestering, Xing finally agreed and secretly took out the life or death pill for the first prince to see. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing looked at each other and their eyes lit up. Chapter 2495. Why are you here? The first prince and Xing had agreed to meet here 3 days later. After that they left. Initially, Lu Ming had planned to take down the first prince and gather some information. However, he had changed his mind and decided to wait for another 3 days. Naturally, he had his eyes on the life or death pill. After the first prince and Xing left, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing waited in the courtyard. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. 3 days later, when night fell, the first prince had been waiting for him. In the middle of the night, a figure stepped through the air. It was Xing. Have you brought the life or death pill? The first prince quickly asked. I did, but I have to put it back quickly. If my father finds out, it won't be good. Xing said. Don't worry, I'm just going to take a look to broaden my horizons. The first prince said with a smile. Xing nodded. With a wave of her hand, a jade bottle with some inscriptions on it appeared in her palm. Xing's fingers waved, and runes flew toward the jade bottle. Then the jade bottle began to emit light, and the light only dimmed down after a while. All right, I'm done. Xing smiled and passed the jade bottle to the first prince. The first prince quickly took it and poured out a pill. A milky white pill the size of a pigeon's egg exuded a strong medicinal fragrance. Even Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing, who were hiding in the void, could smell it. Is this the life or death pill? The first prince murmured as he lowered his head and looked at her carefully. His eyes were filled with intense greed. After examining it for a while, the first prince put the life or death pill back into the jade bottle and handed it over to Xing. He smiled and said, Xing, I've taken a good look. I'll return it to you. Yes, I'll return it now. Xing smiled and reached out to take it. However, at this moment, the first prince's palm glowed like a battle sword. It struck towards Xing's dantian at lightning speed. At such a close distance, coupled with the first prince's sneak attack, ordinary people would not be able to avoid it. However, at the moment when the first prince attacked, Xing's body began to glow. A resplendent radiance spread out and turned into a battle armor that covered her entire body. At the same time, Xing retreated rapidly. Boom! The first prince's palm energy struck Xing's armor, but it was easily dissipated by the armor. Xing retreated 100 meters and stood on the surface of the lake. Her face was extremely ugly. First, why? Xing roared, her face filled with disappointment. So you've been on guard against me? The first prince's face was gloomy as he said coldly. He then raised the jade bottle in his hand and sneered, the life or death pill can heal any injury below the divine spirit realm, no matter how severe it is. Each pill is equivalent to a life. Only by following me can such a peerless pill display its true value. Do you understand? You said that you will stay in the Yellow Springs world and accompany me for the rest of your life. Was that all a lie? Xing asked. Nonsense, I still have important things to do. Why would I stay in this place? This place is just a cursed place. The first prince sneered. Sigh, I was too naive. Xing sighed, and her disappointment became even stronger. I was going to give you a chance. If you didn't do it today, I would have treated you with all my heart. I could even ask my father to give you a life or death pill. Unfortunately, you've disappointed me. After saying that, a cold, killing intent suddenly burst out from Xing's eyes and she waved her hand. Sila. The space behind Xing suddenly split open, and two figures appeared. They were two old men in black robes, exuding a terrifying aura. They were two Heavenly Emperor realm powerhouses, one 3-star Heavenly Emperor and one 2-star Heavenly Emperor. The first prince's face darkened when he saw the two of them. He said, not only have you been guarding against me, but you've also secretly brought people here. Are you trying to kill me? Originally, I brought them here just in case. If you didn't do anything, they wouldn't have appeared. Unfortunately, you've disappointed me. Give me the life or death pill and I'll leave your corpse intact. Xing coldly said. You think I'm not prepared? I've been prepared for this. You don't trust me, and I've never trusted you. Come out. The first prince waved his hand. The void trembled, and figures appeared in the surrounding space. There were a total of 6 people, all of whom were from the evil god tribe. Moreover, all of them were Heavenly Emperor-level powerhouses. There were even 2 4-star Heavenly Emperor-level peerless powerhouses. Seeing these people, Xing's pretty face turned pale. First, I'm just joking with you. For the sake of our relationship, please let me go. On Xing's face, an ugly smile appeared. Let you go? I don't want to be enemies with your OU clan. Although your OU clan doesn't have a martial god and am not afraid of you, it's still a problem. You can go in peace. I'll do my best with these 3 life or death pills. Do it. The first prince laughed coldly. His voice was ice cold as he gave the order. Young miss, quickly leave. Behind Xing, 2 old men took her and charged in one direction. However, the 6 members of the evil god race had also made their move. They sealed off the sky and earth, surrounding the 3 of them and unleashing terrifying attacks. The difference in strength between the 2 sides was too great. The 2 old men that Xing brought were not his opponents at all. As soon as they made a move, they were blown up. Number 1 dog thief, you'll die a terrible death, you'll die a terrible death. Xing crazily cursed. However, in the next moment, she was struck by the attacks of several celestial emperors and instantly turned into ashes, her body and soul destroyed. In the air, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were speechless. However, this was equivalent to a dog-eat-dog fight. Before this, the 2 of them naturally wouldn't make a move. After killing Xing and the 2 experts of the OU family, the first prince was overjoyed. He took out the jade bottle again and poured out 3 pills. All of them were life or death pills, and the medicinal fragrance was extremely rich. What a great harvest. Let's go, let's quickly leave this place. The first prince laughed out loud. He then kept the jade bottle and turned around to leave. However, after flying for a while, he realized that the 6 members of the evil god race were still standing in the air, not moving at all. I told you to leave, didn't you hear me? The first prince turned around and said impatiently. However, the moment he turned around, his eyes widened. It was because the 6 demonic humans seemed to be frozen in the air. They couldn't move at all, and only their faces revealed a frightened expression. Who is it? The first prince's hair stood on end. He shouted and quickly turned around to check. Aren't we welcome, old friends? A chuckle was heard and the space cracked open. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing walked out. Lu Ming, why are you here? How did you enter this place? The first prince's eyes widened as he roared in disbelief. The gate of the Yellow Springs Empire's imperial capital was engraved with a formation that could detect the aura of the Heaven Realm. The creatures of the Heaven Realm couldn't enter the imperial capital at all. The first prince did not expect to meet Lu Ming here. Chapter 2496. Life or Death Pill in Hand. Is it very difficult to enter this place? Lu Ming smiled faintly and said, We're just passing by. We didn't expect to see such a good show. Life or Death Pill. Not bad. It's a waste to leave it in your hands. Leave it to me. You want the life or death pill? Dream on. Run. The first prince shouted angrily, turned around, and ran. However, the next moment, a figure suddenly appeared in front of him. It was Lu Ming. Boom. Lu Ming suddenly released a terrifying aura that pressed down on the first prince. The first prince's body shook violently and he spat out a large mouthful of blood. His face was pale. Your cultivation. The first prince was in disbelief. He was completely vulnerable in front of Lu Ming. Back then, when he had fought Lu Ming at the foot of the evil god tribe's sacred mountain, the 2 of them had been about the same. His cultivation had been at the peak Great Emperor realm. After all these years of cultivation, his cultivation had already reached the Heavenly Emperor realm, and he was now a 2-star Heavenly Emperor. To break through from peak Great Emperor to 2-star Heavenly Emperor in just a few decades was already extremely shocking. However, he was worlds apart from Lu Ming. Lu Ming's aura alone was enough to force him back and make him spit blood. Attack together. The first prince shouted at the other 6 members of the evil god race. However, the 6 members of the evil god race could not move at all. Don't waste your energy, Xian Yanqing said. His body was covered in black light, like a demoness. She stretched out her hand, and a black lotus flower suddenly appeared on the bodies of the 6 evil god race members, enveloping them within it. In just a few breaths' time, the black lotus flower dissipated, and the 6 evil god race beings within it also disappeared without a trace. Only 6 storage bracelets were left floating in the air. The first prince's pupils contracted rapidly, and a look of fear appeared on his face. To be able to kill 6 members of the evil god race with just a raise of his hand? What kind of combat strength was that? One should know that there were 2 4-star Heavenly Emperor experts inside. To be able to do this, One must at least be a peak heavenly emperor, right? At the thought of this, the first prince became even more frightened. Lu Ming, I advise you to let me go obediently. Now, the ancestral dragon has been defeated, and my race's holy ancestor has cooperated with the martial god of the Yellow Spring Empire. Your heaven realm is destined to be defeated. There's no turning back. If you let me go now, I can still put in a few good words for you and spare your life. The first prince said, Spare my life? Hee, I can't trust you, and you even killed the woman who trusted you. What else can't you do? Lu Ming sneered and took a step forward. A terrifying pressure pressed down on the first prince. The first prince's body shook violently and he spat out another mouthful of blood. Tell me, how is Senior Ancestral Dragon? What happened in the capital of the Netherworld Kingdom? Lu Ming pressed. Ancestral Dragon? Let me tell you, he's dead. He was killed by our saint ancestor. He was skinned and his tendons were pulled out. Seeing that Lu Ming would not let him off, the first prince decided to throw caution to the wind and burst out laughing. Senior Ancestral Dragon is dead? No, that's impossible. Lu Ming's heart trembled. He then shook his head. If you want to lie to me, then I'll search for it myself. Lu Ming's eyes were cold as he pointed his finger. His finger was like a spear, piercing toward the first prince's dantian. The first prince was shocked and retreated frantically, trying to avoid it. But now, Lu Ming's combat strength was much stronger than his. He could not avoid it at all and his dantian was hit instantly. Bang! The first prince's dantian had been pierced through by Lu Ming and his cultivation was crippled. All. The first prince let out a hysterical scream, but his voice stopped abruptly. Lu Ming pointed his finger at his glabella and began to search his soul. Lu Ming saw the first prince's memories in his soul. After a long while, Lu Ming ended the soul search. He waved his hand and kept the first prince into his small world. The first prince had a special status. He might be useful. However, the first prince's storage bracelet was in Lu Ming's hands. Let's go. Lu Ming pulled Xian Yanqing, tore open the space, and left the place. Lu Ming, what's going on? How's the ancestral dragon? Not long after, they returned to the inn. Xian Yanqing quickly asked. Senior Ancestral Dragon is not dead. Lu Ming smiled and briefly explained what he had seen to Xian Yanqing. It turned out that not long after they entered Netherworld Mountain, the Ancestral Dragon and the non-human Divine Ancestor had both come to the Yellow Spring Empire. Their target was the cursed land of the Yellow Springs Empire. For existences on the level of the Ancestral Dragon and the non-human Divine Ancestor, the other cursed lands were of little use. They wanted to enter the biggest cursed land, and the life fruits inside were the most useful. However, it wasn't easy to enter the cursed land. He had to get the support of the Yellow Springs Empire. As such, the two of them started to compete in the Yellow Springs Empire. They each supported an important figure of the Yellow Springs Empire and fought for the power of the Yellow Springs Empire. Unfortunately, after decades of fighting, the side that Zhu Long supported was defeated and killed. Zhu Long also escaped from the capital of the Netherworld Empire with injuries and his whereabouts were unknown. Moreover, Lu Ming also learned that the divine ancestor of the non-human race had yet to enter the cursed land. The first prince had no idea why. The ancestor dragon was not dead. Lu Ming was finally relieved. The ancestral dragon was the key to fighting against the non-human divine ancestor. He was the only martial god in the heaven realm. In addition, Lu Ming had also discovered a clue. During this period of time, the alien race had discovered a hidden cursed land. However, it seemed that the heaven realm had entered that place. During this period of time, the alien race had been paying close attention to the cursed land and planned to send people to encircle and annihilate the heaven realm creatures in the cursed land. We can't let them succeed. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing discussed for a while before leaving the inn. Not long after, they appeared outside a huge mansion. After searching the first prince's soul, he found out that this was the evil god tribe's headquarters in the Netherworld Imperial capital. If the evil god tribe wanted to send out experts, they would definitely head out from here. At that time, they only needed to follow. The two of them hid in the dark void and paid close attention to the mansion. As for Lu Ming, he took out the first prince's storage ring and began to count. The first prince had an astonishing amount of resources. There were 2 weapons that were equivalent to Heaven Dao soldiers and a large number of divine stones. Lu Ming did not bother about it. He went straight to the jade bottle. In the jade bottle, there were 3 life or death pills. Lu Ming planned to give the life-death pill to the Titan longhorn beetle and the 9 lives devilish silkworm first so that they could recover from their injuries. With a single thought, the jade bottle appeared in his small world. Lu Ming's figure appeared in his small world as well. Ever since he had attained the Great Emperor realm, Lu Ming's real body could enter his own small world. When he entered the small world, it would automatically hide in the dark void. Lu Ming took the jade bottle and walked to the place where he had planted the Path Understanding ancient tree. After so many years, the Path Understanding ancient tree had grown to 2 meters tall. It was so huge that it covered the sky. The Titan longhorn beetle, the 9 lives devilish silkworm, and the others were cultivating and chatting under the Path Understanding ancient tree. Chapter 2497. Preparing to attack. Upon seeing Lu Ming, the Titan longhorn beetle and the rest flew over. Lu Ming, what's the situation now? Where are you now? The Titan longhorn beetle hurriedly asked. I'm currently in the Netherworld Imperial Capital. Lu Ming said. Netherworld Imperial Capital? How did you get in? The Titan longhorn beetle's eyes widened in surprise. The others were the same. My wife used a secret technique to conceal the aura of the heaven realm. That's how I came in. I've already found information about Senior Ancestral Dragon. Lu Ming said. How is Senior Ancestral Dragon? The Titan longhorn beetle, the 9 lives devilish silkworm, and the rest looked at Lu Ming nervously, afraid to hear that something had happened to the Ancestral Dragon. Senior Ancestral Dragon didn't die. He just escaped from the Netherworld Imperial Capital with injuries. Lu Ming briefly explained what he knew. That's good. Hearing that the Ancestral Dragon was fine, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. I've also received some news. The Evil God tribe will probably send experts to besiege a cursed land. There should be experts from the heaven realm in there. I'm afraid we'll have to fight. Lu Ming said. Fight, we must fight. That's right. I'm going to kill that bunch of Evil God race trash. The Titan longhorn and the others roared. Seniors, Lu Ming has something to give you. Lu Ming's gaze shifted to the Titan longhorn beetle and the 9 lives devilish silkworm. The jade bottle appeared in his hand. You have something for us? The Titan longhorn beetle and the 9 lives devilish silkworm were both confused. I obtained this pill from an alchemist family in the imperial capital of the Netherworld. It's called the Life or Death Pill. It has the effect of seizing the fortune of the heavens and earth. Anyone below the martial god realm, no matter how serious their injuries are, even if their life essence is injured, can be healed. Lu Ming said. What? There's actually such a pill in this world? Everyone's mouth was wide open in shock. Lu Ming, how can we accept such a valuable pill? Then, the 9 lives devilish silkworm shook its head. Seniors, pills are inanimate objects. If they can't display their full power, they won't be of any value. If the 2 seniors can recover to their peak, it will be a blessing for the heaven realm. Only then will the life or death pill show its true value. Lu Ming said. That's right, that's exactly the case. The others also nodded and urged the 2 to accept it. Once the Titan longhorn and 9 lives devilish silkworm recovered to their peak, they would be 2 peak celestial emperors. There were not many in the entire heaven realm who could reach this stage. All right, Lu Ming. I, Old Bull, will remember your kindness. The Titan longhorn beetle was more straightforward and nodded in agreement. In fact, they were also very tempted. After all, it had been countless years since the ancient battle, and they had yet to recover to their peak. This feeling was truly unpleasant. Lu Ming poured out 2 life or death pills and handed them to the Titan longhorn beetle and the 9 lives devilish silkworm. The 2 of them took the pills and chose a spot each. They sat down cross-legged, swallowed the life or death pills, and began to refine them. As for Lu Ming, He left the small world and reappeared beside Xian Yanqing. He continued to observe the mansion. In the blink of an eye, a few days had passed. There was finally some movement in the mansion. A group of experts from the Yellow Springs Empire appeared and entered the mansion. After a while, a large group of people flew out of the mansion. There were experts from the Evil God tribe and the Yellow Spring Empire. There were hundreds of them. They headed straight for the western city gate. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing followed from a distance. Not long after, the experts from the Evil God tribe and the Yellow Spring Empire left the city gate and headed west. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing had also successfully exited the city gate and followed from a distance. They didn't dare to get too close as there were too many experts in the Evil God tribe and the Yellow Spring Empire. There were even peak heavenly emperors, not just 1 or 2, but at least 5 or 6. In addition, there were also many 6-star and 5-star heavenly emperors. This was an extremely shocking power. With so many experts being mobilized at once, it was obvious that they wanted to capture all the living beings in the heaven realm in the cursed land in one fell swoop, leaving none alive. After flying for more than a day, they came to an extremely remote place. In front of them, there was a scorching aura. It turned out that there was a large group of volcanoes in front of them, with no end in sight. Boom, boom, boom. There were volcanoes erupting continuously, and lava shot into the sky. The air was filled with black smoke and a pungent smell. The cursed land was in the middle of the volcanoes. The people of the Yellow Springs Empire couldn't enter, so they hid outside the volcano. As for the Evil God tribe, they charged into the volcano range. Boom, boom, boom. Not long after, a terrifying explosion erupted among the volcanoes. A great battle erupted. Terrifying energy pierced through the ground. Endless lava rushed into the sky, causing the area to become even hotter. In the depths of the volcano, there was a golden lion with 9 heads. It was incomparably huge and stood tall as it roared towards the sky. The surrounding volcanoes exploded one after another in an extremely ferocious manner. Big Brother Qing Tsang. Lu Ming was shocked. It was the 9-headed golden lion Qing Tsang. Qing Tsang was a peak heavenly emperor and was extremely powerful. However, the Evil God tribe also had peak heavenly emperors. In the volcano range, terrifying auras soared into the sky and collided with each other. The heaven realm has 2 peak heavenly emperors, but the Evil God race has 3. Lu Ming's heart felt heavy. The Evil God tribe now had 1 more peak stage heavenly emperor. Moreover, Lu Ming could sense that the Evil God tribe also had more 5-star and 6-star heavenly emperors. If this continued, the heavenly realm would definitely not be a match for them. In addition, the experts of the Yellow Spring Empire were lying in ambush outside the volcano. The number of experts was even more than that of the Evil God tribe. If the heaven realm creatures rushed out, it would be really dangerous. I wonder how the 2 seniors, the Titan Longhorn and the 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm, are recovering? Lu Ming was a little anxious. If they were to attack later, they would be at a disadvantage because they didn't have enough experts. Lu Ming controlled the divine 9-dragon cauldron and could be considered a peak heavenly emperor. Xian Yanqing could be considered a peak heavenly emperor. Including Zhan Li, there were only 3 peak heavenly emperors. They were not enough. Lu Ming could sense that there were 4 peak heavenly emperors in the Yellow Springs Empire. In addition to the 3 from the Evil God tribe, there were 7 of them. In addition, there was still the 6-star heavenly emperor. If the Titan Longhorn Beetle and the 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm recovered, then there was no need to fear. Charge out! Qing Gang's loud roar rang out among the volcanoes. After that, a group of Heaven Realm experts joined forces and rushed out. The people from the Evil God tribe were in hot pursuit. Not good. Lu Ming's expression changed. He then entered the small world with a thought. He wanted to see if the Titan Longhorn Beetle and the 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm had recovered. At this moment, the 2 of them were surrounded by a brilliant light and their auras were very powerful. Peak Heavenly Emperor. Lu Ming could not help but feel overjoyed when he sensed their auras. The life or death pill was worthy of being a peerless divine medicine. Its medicinal effects were incomparably shocking. It had only been a few days, but the Titan longhorn beetle and the 9 lives devilish silkworm had almost fully recovered. Their auras had returned to peak Heavenly Emperor. Chapter 2498. Intense battle. At this moment, the situation outside was quite critical. Qing Tsang and the others rushed out of the volcanoes and arrived at the outskirts of the cursed land. However, at this moment, the people of the Yellow Spring Empire appeared in front of Qing Tsang and the others. Their terrifying aura made Qing Tsang and the others change their expressions and stop. Another 4 peak Heavenly Emperors. A total of 7 peak Heavenly Emperors. You really think highly of us. Qing Tsang sneered as his 9 heads looked around. Beside Qing Tsang, there was a phoenix flapping its wings, and its body was covered in black flames. It was a black phoenix, a peak Heavenly Emperor, the king of the phoenix race in the heaven realm. Ha, Qing Tsang, you'll see how you die today. Ha, and a loud laugh came from behind. The experts of the evil god tribe had blocked Qing Tsang and the others' escape route, making it impossible for them to escape. Duo Lei, why aren't you guarding the eternal cage? Be careful not to let anyone escape. Qing Tsang sneered, his voice filled with mockery. The one from the evil god tribe who had just spoken was Duo Lei. Upon hearing Qing Gang's words, Duo Lei's eyes turned extremely ferocious as he roared, "So what if you've escaped from the eternal cage, Qing Tsang? He'll still die in my hands. And that Lu Ming kid, I'll tear him into pieces sooner or later. Charge back to the cursed lands." Qing Tsang secretly sent a message to the beings in the heavenly realm. They would only have a chance if they rushed back to the cursed land. Outside, they would have to face the double siege of the evil god tribe and the Yellow Springs Empire. They would be in grave danger. It's too late. In the small world, Lu Ming was a little anxious. He then sent a voice transmission to the Titan Longhorn and the 9 lives devilish silkworm. "Senior, quickly wake up. Senior, quickly wake up." Lu Ming kept transmitting his voice. Boom, boom. The auras of the Titan bull and the 9 lives devilish silkworms suddenly skyrocketed. Then, they rapidly contracted before opening their eyes. "Is the war about to start?" The Titan Longhorn beetle asked. "That's right. It's an urgent matter, so I can only disturb the 2 of you." Lu Ming said. "It's fine. I've almost recovered. Let's go out and fight." The Titan Longhorn beetle said. "Let's go." Lu Ming controlled the small world. The next moment, everyone in the small world appeared outside. At this moment, Qing Tsang and the others also made their move. They immediately charged toward the evil god tribe behind them, wanting to rush back to the cursed land. Kill! The experts from the evil god tribe and the Yellow Spring Empire also made their moves. Kill! At this moment, Lu Ming roared and his voice reverberated in all directions. Then he rushed towards the people of the Yellow Springs Empire. What's going on? The people of the evil god tribe and the Yellow Spring Empire were stunned. In just a short moment, they had already arrived. Lu Ming controlled the divine 9-dragon cauldron and charged at a peak heavenly emperor of the Yellow Springs Empire. At the same time, Xian Yanqing joined forces with Lu Ming to attack one person. The Titan Longhorn beetle and the others also launched their attacks. On Lu Ming's side, there were 5 peak heavenly emperors. Their sudden appearance caught the Yellow Springs Empire off guard. The peak stage heavenly emperor who was attacked by Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing was sent flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood and was severely injured. The other experts of the Yellow Springs Empire were also pushed back and suffered different degrees of light injuries. Titan, 9 lives, it's you. Qing Tsang was overjoyed to see the Titan Longhorn and the others. He turned around and was about to kill the experts of the Yellow Springs Empire. However, after being stunned for a moment, Duo Lu and the others also reacted and charged toward Qing Tsang and the others. The scene was in a chaotic battle. The total number of peak heavenly emperor powerhouses from both sides was the same, 7. However, just now, Lu Ming and the others had sneaked an attack and injured one of the opponents. They had the upper hand in terms of the number of peak heavenly emperors. An intense chaotic battle broke out. Lu Ming's side had the slight upper hand. If it were not for the fact that the Yellow Springs Empire and the Evil God Tribe had more 6-star heavenly emperors, the battle would have been one-sided. Lu Ming, damn it, damn it. Duo Lei roared in his heart. It was Lu Ming again. Every time, Lu Ming would ruin his plans. Lu Ming was simply his nemesis. He was so furious that he could not wait to crush Lu Ming's bones and scatter his ashes. If you want to kill me, then come. Lu Ming controlled the 9 divine 9-dragon cauldrons and hurled them at Duo Lei. Duo Lei also unleashed his powers in a frenzy, wanting to kill Lu Ming. The two of them collided continuously, but it was difficult to determine the victor. At this moment, a 6-star heavenly emperor of the Evil God Tribe was killed by Xian Yanqing. Lu Ming, the Titan Longhorn Beetle, and the rest each had an opponent and they fought fiercely with each other. Xian Yanqing, on the other hand, did not have any peak heavenly emperor to stop him. The peak stage heavenly emperor of the Yellow Springs Empire was severely injured at the beginning. He was at most as strong as a 6-star heavenly emperor, and there were 5 or 6 6-star heavenly emperors surrounding Xian Yanqing. However, Xian Yanqing's combat strength was beyond their imagination. He became more and more courageous, and his attacks were unpredictable. After a dozen moves, he successfully killed a 6-star heavenly emperor. Exterminate! As Xian Yanqing spoke, his body emitted a black light. The black light turned into black lotuses. The petals of the lotuses flew out and formed a black sword that slashed at his opponent. On the other side, the 5 6-star heavenly emperors were flustered by Xian Yanqing's attack and were in danger. Come and help us! A 6-star heavenly emperor roared. However, the chaotic battle was intense, and everyone had an opponent. How could they draw out so many experts? Suddenly, another 6-star heavenly emperor was pierced through the forehead by Xian Yanqing's sword light and died on the spot. Damn it! Duo Lei howled, wanting to push Lu Ming back and attack Xian Yanqing. However, Lu Ming controlled the divine 9-dragon cauldron and fought back with all his might. He blocked Xian Yanqing's attack with all his might, leaving him no energy to attack Xian Yanqing. Gather together! A peak great emperor from the Yellow Springs Empire roared. At this moment, they were at a disadvantage and had to gather their strength to defend. All the people from the Evil God Tribe and the Yellow Spring Empire started to gather. They got close to each other and got into a defensive position. Initially, Lu Ming and the rest had the upper hand by a slight margin. Now that the other party was on the defensive, they could not take down the other party. Very quickly, the people from the Evil God Tribe and the Yellow Springs Empire gathered together and formed a defensive formation that was as strong as iron. They blocked the attacks from Lu Ming and the others and finally stabilized the situation. The two sides fought for a while, then separated into 2 camps and confronted each other. They all knew that if there were no accidents today, no one could do anything to the other. However, Lu Ming and the rest had achieved their goal of saving people. The faces of Duo Lei and the others were ugly. Today, they had failed to kill anyone, and instead, a few 6-star heavenly emperors had died. It was a big loss. When my race's divine ancestor recovers, you'll all die. Go. A peak heavenly emperor from the Evil God Tribe spoke coldly. Then the Evil God Tribe and the Yellow Spring Empire retreated unwillingly. Lu Ming and the rest did not pursue. The other party was on the defensive. It was useless even if they pursued. Chapter 2499 Furious, Ancestral Dragon appears. The people from the Evil God Tribe and the Yellow Spring Empire had disappeared in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming, you're amazing. Qing Tsang laughed and looked at Lu Ming with gratitude and shock in his eyes. He remembered that when he first met Lu Ming's abilities were barely enough to deal with the weakest 1-star heavenly emperor. However, Lu Ming was already able to fight with a peak heavenly emperor. Although he had the help of the divine 9-dragon cauldron, it was still extremely shocking. It had only been a few decades. A few decades was just a blink of an eye to them. He had lived for a long time and had never seen such a stunning person like Lu Ming. This is As he spoke, Qin Gang's gaze turned to Xian Yanqing. Beside him, the Black Phoenix had also transformed into a human. It was a middle-aged woman with a good figure. At this moment, she also looked at Xian Yanqing. Xian Yanqing was very young, but his combat strength was extremely powerful. He was a peak heavenly emperor. Most importantly, they didn't know him, so they were naturally curious. "This is my wife." Lu Ming held Xian Yanqing's hand and said, "Your wife?" Xingcang, the Black Phoenix, and the others were all shocked. "May I ask, how many years has sister-in-law been cultivating?" Xingcang asked curiously. "Little Qing is about the same age as me." Lu Ming smiled. This, Xingcang, the Black Phoenix, and the others looked at each other, completely dumbfounded. "Sigh, I'm old. I thought I had good talent, but compared to you two, I'm simply a waste." Xingcang sighed as if he had suffered a great blow. Lu Ming touched his nose and smiled bitterly. "Old lion, aren't you looking for trouble by comparing yourself to Lu Ming and the rest?" The Titan longhorn beetle laughed. "Ha, that's true." Xingcang laughed. After chatting for a while, they left the place, afraid that the other party would send more powerful experts. After leaving, they chatted as they walked. Xingcang and the others also learned about the ancestral dragon. "I wonder where Senior Ancestral Dragon is?" "That's right. If this continues, the most cursed land will be entered by the foreign divine ancestor. If he obtains the life fruit, we'll be finished." The Titanos and the others sighed. The Titan longhorn beetle and the 9 lives devilish silkworm had consumed the life or death pill before and knew its effects. The life or death pill was made from the fruit of life. If the divine ancestor of the non-human race could get the fruit of life, he might really be able to recover. If even Saint Ancestor Bloodheart's injuries were healed, they would have even less hope. Everyone was worried, but also helpless. With their strength, they could not compete with the other party at all. After that, they planned to enter some cities to scout for information. If the divine ancestor of the outsiders wanted to enter the biggest cursed zone, there should have been news of it. Not long after, they arrived at a large city. The others entered Lu Ming's small world while Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing cast a secret technique to enter the large city. After that, the two of them stayed in this large city, cultivating and gathering information at the same time. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. One day, they heard a piece of news that made them furious. In the imperial capital of the Netherworld, the evil god tribe released news that they had captured some heaven realm beings and tied them to the eastern city gate of the imperial capital of the Netherworld. 3 months later, they would kill them all. The news spread like a whirlwind. When Lu Ming told the Titan longhorn beetle and the rest of the people about this news, they were furious. Kill our way over and save those people." The Titan longhorn beetle had the most irascible temper, and it roared angrily. "Don't act rashly. The evil god tribe is trying to lure us over so that they can capture us all in one fell swoop. This is definitely a trap." The 9 lives devilish silkworm said. "Are we just going to watch those people die in vain? What if those people have your family and friends?" The Titan longhorn beetle glared. "I'm saying we can't act rashly, we need to think of a foolproof plan." The 9 lives devilish silkworm said. "Let's go and observe the situation first." Lu Ming said. "I think so too. Let's go and observe first before making a decision. Even if we're going to take action, we'll have to gather more people." The 9 devils devilish silkworm said. After that, the others remained in Lu Ming's small world. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing changed their appearances and headed for the Netherworld imperial capital. Soon, they arrived at the eastern gate of the capital of the Netherworld. They stood on a mountain peak outside the eastern gate and looked ahead. There were indeed some people tied up outside the east gate of the Yellow Springs Empire. They all looked haggard and weak. There were a lot of them, almost 200 of them. Long Chen, Feng Ling, Ouyang Wushuang. Among them, Lu Ming saw Long Chen, Huang Ling, and Ouyang Wushuang. Damn it! Lu Ming was a little anxious. These were all his best friends. In fact, Lu Ming even saw Yuan Xian in the crowd. This child of destiny could not control her own fate and was tied up. Lu Ming had also met some of the older generation. "We must save them." Lu Ming's eyes were shining with determination. However, he could not act rashly. Lu Ming estimated that there were terrifying powerhouses hiding near the East Gate. Even a martial god like the divine ancestor might be nearby. If he rushed out rashly, he would only be courting death. What should I do? Lu Ming was a little anxious. There were only 3 months left. After 3 months, Long Chen, Feng Ling, and the others would be killed. Lu Ming, don't be anxious. You have to calm down. Xian Yanqing held Lu Ming's hand and Lu Ming slowly calmed down. In the next few days, the two of them observed the area and thought of countermeasures. However, the difference in strength was too great, and it was really difficult for them to think of a countermeasure. Lu Ming! At this moment, a voice was heard in Lu Ming's ears. Lu Ming's body trembled when he heard this voice. That was because it was the voice of the ancestor dragon. Sure enough, a figure walked out of a mountain not far away. If it wasn't the ancestral dragon, who could it be? Zhu Long took a step forward and came to Lu Ming and the rest. Senior ancestral dragon, it's great that you're fine. Lu Ming was overjoyed. With the appearance of the ancestral dragon, they had hope. I was injured in the Netherworld Imperial Capital, but it's not a big deal. Zulong said. Senior ancestral dragon, what should we do next? Lu Ming asked. Let's leave first. I'll leave some people here to guard the place. If other people from the heaven realm come, call them to meet us. Well, gather our people first and think of a way to save them, Zulong said. Then he left the place with Lu Ming and the rest and appeared in a secret place 1,000,000 miles away. Lu Ming saw many familiar faces in the heaven realm. For example, the 5 elements Qilin. They just waited there. As expected, in the next few days, there were people coming here to meet up. Chapter 2500. Yellow Spring Sect. The ancestral dragon had left some people outside the capital of the Netherworld Empire. During this time, most of the creatures in the heaven realm would go to the periphery of the Netherworld Empire to inquire about the news. This way they could come back. On the 3rd day, Lu Ming saw Dandan. After not seeing her for some time, Dandan's cultivation level had increased by a lot and she had reached the 4-star Heavenly Emperor level. Lu Ming chatted with Dandan for a while and found out that this fellow had encountered some fortuitous encounters. On the 5th day, Bubbles arrived. Currently, her cultivation base had reached the peak Great Emperor realm and she was only a step away from becoming a Heavenly Emperor. On the 6th day, Lu Xiangxiang and Ouyang Moli came together, which made Lu Ming overjoyed. Lu Xiangxiang and Ouyang Moli's cultivation had both stepped into the Great Emperor realm. Lu Ming finally heaved a sigh of relief. Lu Xiangxiang and the rest were fine. Lu Ming was relieved. As time passed, more and more people gathered here. However, Lu Ming still could not think of a very effective method. On this day, Lu Ming went to find the ancestor dragon. Senior, I have a heaven's favorite of the Outlander race in my hands. He's the son of the king of the #1 royal race of the Outlander race, and he's known as the strongest heaven's favorite in the history of the evil god race. Perhaps we can use him to exchange for him, Lu Ming said. The first prince was still in Lu Ming's hands. He had been kept in the small world. He did not kill the first prince back then because he thought that it might be useful in the future. The first prince's identity was not to be underestimated. Perhaps he could exchange for Feng Ling, Long Chen, and the others. I'm afraid it'll be difficult. Zhu Long frowned. Although the first prince is important, you're still the most important person in the eyes of the non-human divine ancestor. Once you appear, the non-human divine ancestor will probably kill you immediately. He won't care about some non-human genius. Lu Ming frowned. The non-human divine ancestor seemed to know that he had cultivated the path of domination. Perhaps he really did not care about the first prince's life and wanted to kill him. Senior, do you have a good plan? Lu Ming asked. Whether it's to save people or to fight the non-human divine ancestor, there's only one way now, and that's to go to the Yellow Spring Sect. Zulong said. Yellow Spring Sect? Lu Ming was puzzled. That's right. The Netherworld Sect is an extremely secretive sect in the Netherworld world. It doesn't care about worldly affairs and only focuses on cultivation. Even the people in the netherworld world don't know about it. I've stayed in the imperial capital of the netherworld for a while and learned about it from some ancient books. It said that the netherworld sect and the netherworld empire were of the same lineage in the early days. However, some people were keen on secular power and established the netherworld empire, while some people who were not keen on secular power and established the netherworld sect in seclusion. Zhu Long explained. Is the netherworld sect very strong? Lu Ming asked. Strong, of course, they are strong. Although they don't have as many people as the Yellow Springs Empire, their top combat force is not weaker than the Yellow Springs Empire. As far as I know, there are 2 martial gods in the Netherworld Empire and 2 in the Netherworld sect. Zulong said. 2 war gods. Lu Ming was shocked. Not to mention anything else, the 2 martial gods were already enough to shock the world. As long as we can obtain the support of the Netherworld sect, not only can we save people, but we can also fight against the divine ancestor of the non-human race. Zulong said. He sighed and said, if we can't get the support of the Netherworld sect, we can only do it ourselves. Lu Ming nodded. Time passed day by day, and a month had already passed since the 3 months that the evil god tribe had given him. At this time, more than 500 people had gathered in the Heaven Realm. At this time, Zhu Long was also ready to leave for the Yellow Spring sect. However, he didn't bring that many people with him. He only brought Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, the Titan Longhorn Beetle, the 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm, and 10 other people to the Netherworld sect. The Netherworld sect was located in the northernmost part of the Netherworld world. It was almost at the edge of the Netherworld. The ancestral dragon brought them to a mountain range. There were countless mountains here. Soon, they arrived in front of a tall mountain. At the foot of the mountain, there was a huge stone tablet. The stone tablet was ancient and covered in moss. In the middle of it, there was a huge Huang character. The mountain gate was empty. Was this the Netherworld sect? Everyone was puzzled. But since they were already here, they could only continue forward. They didn't fly, but walked up the mountain stairs. When he passed by the stone tablet, Lu Ming sized it up curiously and felt that it looked familiar. Very soon, they were halfway up the mountain. Suddenly, the space moved and 4 figures appeared in front of them, blocking Lu Ming and the rest. Halt, this is the Yellow Spring sect. A middle-aged man said. Everyone, we would like to see your sect's leader. Zhu Long cupped his fists and said, Everyone, my sect's sect master is not seeing guests. Please leave. The middle-aged man waved his hand with a cold expression. You haven't even seen him before, how do you know he's gone missing? We have something important to discuss with your sect leader. The Titan Longhorn Beetle shouted. Everyone, please return. The middle-aged man continued to speak, but his voice was cold. It was obvious that he wanted to drive the guest away. You didn't even hear why we're here. What's the meaning of this? The Titan Longhorn Beetle grumbled unhappily, and a powerful aura erupted from its body. Boom, boom. Just as the Titan Longhorn Beetle's aura erupted, the 4 people in front of it also released powerful auras. 3 6-star Heavenly Emperors and 1 Peak Heavenly Emperor. The expressions of Lu Ming and the group changed slightly. The cultivation of the 4 people in front of him was already extremely shocking. Not only that, but there were also many shocking auras coming from the mountain peak. They were like terrifying air waves that pressed down on this side. Lu Ming could sense that there were no less than 10 Peak Heavenly Emperor auras. There were even a few auras that were extremely shocking, even above Peak Heavenly Emperor. Whoa, there are so many experts here, and there are even invincible figures who are half a step into the martial god realm. The Titan Longhorn Beetle grinned, its eyes filled with shock. This Yellow Springs sect was indeed terrifying. The Titan Longhorn Beetle had only released its aura, but it was like poking a hornet's nest, causing a bunch of experts to appear. Perhaps, this was only a portion of them. Who knew how many more experts there were in the dark? Everyone, please calm down. We have no ill intentions. We are only here to seek cooperation. The ancestral dragon stepped forward and said. Then he looked at the peak of the mountain and said, Fellow Taoists, I have a matter to discuss with you. The ancestral dragon's voice came from far away, and at the same time, he gave off a strange aura. Fellow Taoist, why have you come to the Netherworld sect? At this time, an old voice came from the peak of the mountain. Then, a light flashed and a figure appeared in front of everyone. It was an old man with white hair and a sage-like air. We pay our respects to the sect leader, Elder. The people from the Yellow Spring sect saluted the old man respectfully. Lu Ming and the rest felt a chill in their hearts. They knew that the old man was a battle god. The two sect masters of the Yellow Spring sect were both at the martial god realm. Fellow Taoist, we're here to seek your cooperation. Zulong said. Cooperation? Though you, Haida _ Errol Olderwack are TI 771 or 1, you're tuning in to the Han Lee's Immortal Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.